Whatever kind of night you're having, start it off right with Drizzly, the go-to app for drink delivery. Whether you're mixing up a bullet bourbon old-fashioned for a cozy night in, or Kettle One Bloody Mary bar for a birthday brunch, you can get the perfect beer, wine, and spirits for any occasion delivered with Drizzly. So,
what's it gonna be?
Download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com to choose your drinks today. Must be 21 plus, not available in all locations.
Ew, gotta get rid of this old Backstreet Boys t-shirt.
Tell me why.
Because it stinks, boys.
Tell me why.
I've washed it so many times, but the odor won't come out.
Tell me why.
No, you tell me why I can't get rid of this odor.
Have you tried Downy Rinse and Refresh? It doesn't just cover up odors, it helps remove them.
Wow, it worked, guys.
Yeah.
Downy Rinse and Refresh removes more odor in one wash than the leading value detergent in 3 washes. Find it wherever you buy laundry products.
The following production is part of the We Be Geeks podcast collective.
From days long ago, from uncharted regions of the universe, comes a legend.
The dream that came through a million years, that lived on through all the tears.
It came here, the Fandom Nexus.
Fabulous secret powers were revealed to our host as he plugged in his microphone.
I have a podcast!
Here he is, your Spider-Pan, Jeremy.
Yes, we're back. Yeah, we know it's been like 3 weeks. Things kind of don't always work the way we plan them to. But we are back, and we've got a super packed show because of it having been 3 weeks. There's a lot of stuff I wanted to be able to talk about here. So, is this like the first show we've had next to the... No, I guess we did have a show where it was just Flo Solo. But yeah, I think it's almost like we've had 2 shows since the big year in review show. My goodness. So this could end up being a long show because I have packed it. But overall... You know, Lost Boy Philip, of course, is here with me. He's sucking on a peppermint stick.
Hello there. How you doing there, kids?
So yes, he is here indeed. And just to make things a bit more fun, we're going to dive into some interesting topics. We're going to talk about some of the more masculine heroes that helped shape our perspective, I guess, a lot, to help shape us who we are. And I'll go into why I wanted to talk about this topic and go into some biblical masculinity because it's really severely lacking. But yeah, we'll get into why, but we're going to do it in a very fun way and talk about a few 80s heroes. I don't know if Philip's gotten a chance to add anything to this list, but I've got just a few that I think will get us started, and we might even go in a little further. But, you know, heck, we've also got to mention I was going to have Tim Devine. Some of y'all longtime listeners might remember him, but he lives in Philadelphia and we live in Kansas City, which means we could have had a little bit of fun talking about the upcoming Super Bowl between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. We're excited, ain't we?
That's right, baby. I'm looking forward to the Chiefs. I pray and hope that they win.
Oh, yes.
Philadelphia Eagles, if there's anyone out there who's a Philadelphia Eagles fan, I'm praying for you.
No, we're praying your team loses.
I'm glad for both teams. I'm very happy for both. And if your team was in the playoffs and didn't make it, hey, I'm sorry for you, you know. I'm proud of the teams, all of them. Every one of the teams who played this season, I'm proud of you. Y'all done good. You have to be good to be in the NFL.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're all real good critics when we're sitting on the couch eating chips and all that. But in reality, they all are really good at what they do, and I'm very proud of them.
Yep.
That being said, I'm very proud of our teams, if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Man, I'm really happy. I can't wait to watch. But I do pray and hope, because I'm selfish, I want the Chiefs to win.
Mm-hmm. I did want to ask Team or any Eagles fans, and you can all send us an email, podcast@neverlandpodcast.com. It seemed like the Eagles really didn't have any teams that really challenged them. They just kind of mopped the floor with everybody. And that's one of the things I think might give them a bit of a struggle against the Chiefs. So the Chiefs have struggled in games. They've had to come back. They've had adversity and challenges. So,
or it could be that the Eagles are just that good. Now, I have no
could
idea.
be they are just that good. But, when you actually come up with a rival that actually challenges you and pushes you to your limits, that's where character and heart comes in. And I wonder if this Eagles team is ready for that, to have a team that might potentially beat them, that might best them. Because it seems like they haven't really had anybody to challenge. And I made a meme where I had Zod and Ursa with the Philadelphia Eagles saying, I win. I always win. Is there no one to even challenge me? And then I have the little bit of Superman from Superman 2 where he says, well, would you care to step outside in Arizona? And I got him, instead of Superman symbol, he's got a Chiefs logo. Because that's the way I kind of feel like this might be going, is the Eagles have not really had anything that really pushed them to their limits. And I think the Chiefs could be the team that does it. So they're going to have to step up if they want to have a chance at winning this thing. But I'd say Kansas City Chiefs. And I even
hope so.
At my physical therapist's office, they have a little thing where you kind of put your initials, what you think the last digit on the score would be. And I put it as a 4 and a 1 because I think it'll be 24-21. But the Chiefs will win it by a field goal.
Well, whatever it ends up being, I do hope the Chiefs win. Mm-hmm. But even if they don't, I'm very proud of them.
Yep.
For going all the way.
It's been a fun season.
I'm not going to quote the line completely, but the line that keeps coming back to me is that I hate the stinking Eagles, man, quoting from Big Lebowski. But even in that movie, when he says he's talking about the group, and I love those Eagles. Anyway, being said,
the big difference. So we are super, super excited, and I was hoping to have like a big Super Bowl episode, but Tim couldn't make it, so that's okay. But we're going to turn the corner and get into our usual host chatter, which, what have you been watching? And I wanted to bring up at least that I saw 2 episodes of the new Night Court. Have you watched? You've probably watched more than I have, haven't you?
I've watched all 4 so far. And I don't love it like the original, but, I didn't expect to either.
Yeah.
I do like it, though. I like it.
Yeah, and, it's okay. The second episode was definitely better than the first.
Yeah, and to be truthful, the only thing about it that's outstanding and always will be is Dan Fielding, which is played by the great John Larroquette.
Yeah.
And he's really great. And this is not an insult to any of the other actors, at least I don't mean it to be. But you can tell the young ones especially because they're used to a different type of comedy.
Yeah.
He is so good at that old school and new school. He fits into anything. And I'm not much into nowadays comedy. And I'm not much into the nowadays sitcoms or whatever. It's they laugh at anything and everything, and their style is just not. I don't know. Yeah. But he's just so good at all the types. He really is.
Yeah, he was the high point. That and the let's see. I liked the new bailiff. She was fun.
Yeah, she's fun. I like her.
I can't think of her name right now.
She kind of reminds me. She's like a combination of all the bailiffs that we had that we enjoyed back then. She's like a combination of all of them. She looks a little bit like Ross. And I don't just mean because she's a black person. Yeah. And I don't mean just that. But she's got the same build as Ross. She does, except she's short. So she kind of fits in with. They had a short blonde for a short time. I didn't mean that way, the short time. But who liked Bull. And yet she's short, a little bit like some of the old ladies. And she has some of the wit of some of them, yet she's a little bit goofy in her own right. And she's just kind of fun. I like her. Mm-hmm. But they have some of the characters are a lot of fun. And I enjoy them. And I like how the judge is supposed to be Harry's daughter. Yeah, she is like Harry, and yet a little bit. I tell you, she's a little bit like Christine in the sense that she's trying to be super, super nice and be nice for everybody. And that's kind of fun too. You got a little bit of mixture of both. That I like it.
Yeah, I had noticed because Melissa Rauch, or Roche, I think it's Roche. She seems like she's only really had almost one emotion in the first 2 episodes that she was really going and conveying with, and she just seems like she's just super excited to be able to be a part of the show without. And I don't think they've really developed her character yet, from what I saw in the first 2 episodes. But I want to check out some more episodes. But I don't watch a lot of TV anymore. I'm playing games because I've got a heck of a backlog, and Hogwarts Legacy, and that'll become important later. Hogwarts Legacy is coming out here the 10th by the end of the week on Friday, right in time for us to have a Valentine's banquet at church, where instead of playing the game, I'm going to have to do something with my wife.
Oh, darn. Well, she's fired.
So... because I know it's just going to consume all of my time, and so I've been trying to play a lot of backlog real quick before that game comes out. So another thing I realized how I've not been watching much TV lately is I went to go in Disney Plus and thinking, let's see, we got a new season of The Bad Batch, and that'll be nice to check out. I realized I only watched about half of the first season of The Bad Batch, apparently.
Yeah. I got to catch up too because I did the exact same thing.
Yeah,
almost exactly.
And I don't know, did they like pause? But I was like, because I was trying to think, it's like, how did that first season end? And I went and I looked, and I was like, wait a minute, it says the next episode I need to watch is still the first season. And I went and looked at the list, and I got like 6 episodes of Bad Batch to watch before I can even get to the second season.
Almost the exact same thing.
Yeah,
almost verbatim. It's just the exact same thing, and it wasn't because I wasn't interested, but with me, I get caught up in other things too.
Yeah.
In fact, I was doing this. I think I told you this, but I like to watch a lot of old shows I may have seen bits and pieces of or episodes of here and there. I watched with my grandma or whoever, and but I never watched all of or whatever. I started right at the time when Angela Lansbury passed away. I started watching Murder, She Wrote. Well, dadgum, that show has 12 seasons, and I'm on season 11. And here's the thing: that show was really, really fun for the first 5 seasons. But now on season 11, I'm like, I wish you would end already. But because
you could just stop and.
No, I can't because I want to watch it all, get it done. But the thing
that's become a task.
About it is almost because the first 4 or 5 seasons were good, but Tom, what was his name? Tom Bosley. Yes, he left after about 3 or 4 seasons, and they had another sheriff, and he was okay. But then she ended up moving and going to New York of all places, and she would go back to Cabot Cove. I don't know. It's not quite the same. And I think part of it had to do with the fact that not quite half the season she'd be out visiting people and all. But and I can understand that. But maybe they just got tired of making her have to visit so many people. But you don't hear from her family anymore. So it's like most of the time she's either in New York or she's in Cabot Cove, in New York or in Cabot Cove. But it just and then writing started getting lame. And I know it's for older people mostly. But sometimes it's like, man, some of these mysteries, it's like watching a episode of Scooby-Doo. Sometimes it's like,
Scooby-Doo would be more fun.
Yeah, it's like, it's Mr. Smithers. Yeah, and later on she'll say, you remember earlier on when I asked you what you were doing that night, and you said, well, I can't really tell you. I knew why you were saying that was because, and then the person at the end is sitting there saying, okay, I'll finally admit it. I did kill the person. You remember when I put that pencil down? Well, the reason was because that pencil was the same one I stabbed her in the head with. And he'll tell the whole thing. You're like, oh, why is Mr. Smithers doing this? Why? Mr. Smithers wouldn't tell you everything. I mean, it's just a show, but still, you're like, come on,
don't fess
Mr.
up to the whole thing.
Yeah, why are you confessing all of it? You don't need to tell us all.
Although
this
occasionally
stuff.
on Columbo, after Columbo's kind of got them red-handed, they'll say, you know what, I've seen some guys like, I was actually kind of waiting for some. I feel actually better now that this is out that I did this.
Columbo was wisely written, and the next show that I'm moving on to after this is Matlock. But I decided, no, Philip, you're not moving on to Matlock. You're going to wait until you're done. Then because I know me, if I'd start on another one, then I'll not get back to finish it. So
you gotta go for it.
I gotta finish it, baby.
You gotta finish it. All right, so now we move on to what have you been playing? And I got a long list because I was talking about having a backlog of games.
Yeah.
So last time we had a show, I was playing through Lego Star Wars. I finished the main story. I have not gone through and just unlocked everything because there just isn't time. But I probably will come back and free play it and just unlock a whole lot more stuff. But that's
is that a lot different?
Oh, it's quite a bit different.
The other Legos?
Yeah, it's got some similarities of how a Lego game is played, but it plays very different, and it's a whole heck of a lot of fun. And dude, you're gonna have to come over and play this, or we'll do the remote thing, and you got to play with me sometime. This was just too much fun. Yeah, it was a hoot.
Pirate Seth was telling me that I call it Pirate. Pirate Seth was telling me that it was a lot of fun too.
Oh yeah, it's a hoot. It's great fun. But then after I finished that. There was a game that I'd almost bought, but then I saw that it popped up on the PlayStation Plus, so I could play it for free. And I've been curious about it since I first saw some stuff on I watch a lot of YouTube channels on gaming and stuff. And there's this game called Erica, and it's filmed with a lot of, but back in the 90s or whatever, we had a lot of FMVs, full motion video games, and the video quality would be terrible and stuff. And it's remind me a little bit of that, except for it's more like an interactive movie where I have some control over the main character Erica and what's happening.
The real grainy.
Yeah, but this isn't grainy. I mean, this is like good high quality because this is more recent. There's multiple different endings, and it even tells you, however you play through it, you won't discover all the secrets on a single playthrough. You're going to have to go in different ways and in different ones. So, but I went and I said, okay, well, that's free, and I could play through it in a couple hours. It's the length of a movie, but I have control over it and how it all resolves. And I got a pretty good ending out of it. But it's a good mystery. Had some fun with that, and then. I had to jump in, and we do have some news about this later. I had meant to have this news before it happened, but it's already happened, but we'll talk about that. But Hitman 3, I finally got a chance now to sit down and play that, and at some point I really need to play some of these side missions, but finish the story on that one, and I got to tell you, if you are a fan of James Bond and you ever wanted a real legit James Bond style game that's based more off of the book where he's an assassin, these Hitman games, these recent ones, felt more like that because it's infiltration. Find your target, take him out, but you find see if you can cause it an accident so you can walk away clean, like no one has any idea whether you did it. But yet by the end of the third one, it is as Chris Cornell said in one of my favorite James Bond themes, "You know my name." Like there's so many times you get to the final target, and they're like, "Yeah, I was expecting you, and I know what you're here for. Just do it already." They're like, I knew I wasn't going to be able to stop you. Because some characters they knew that you were coming, and they've tried to boost security, but Agent 47 gets through. He'll find a way. And so and it's all these like bad people who are like kind of above the law, but they're not above getting taken out by the hitman. So I really had some fun with that. And then here recently, although I cannot give this a Neverland endorsement because holy cow, would this be a severely R-rated movie? Cyberpunk 2077. Which I am enjoying. It's got some really good story in there, and I've enjoyed building friendships with like side characters that it's going to become apparently important later. But it's in a lot of ways it's as if they made a movie a game based off the Blade Runner universe a little bit. That's what it feels like, except for everybody, of course, is you've been putting cybernetic parts into yourself, and say you've got a bad kidney, well, I can get a cybernetic one, or you want to have better eyes, I can get cybernetic ones. You get all these implants, and you get, as they call it, getting chrome. So you've kind of do enhancements to yourself, and so you can enhance your body. You can go to what they call the Ripper Doc, and they can put new things in there. So there's all of these neat little things about the world, and this is based off of a tabletop role-playing game from way back that
really
I hadn't heard of before, but they made this game, and this, of course, got famous for having Keanu Reeves playing a character, Johnny Silverhand, who's kind of like one of your main story element is Johnny Silverhand being in your head for a faulty relic chip, and it's complicated. I don't want to spoil, but having Keanu Reeves in there with his "I'm going to be a tough guy" acting, and this is Keanu Reeves being a tough character, and this is the way he sounds talking as a tough character. So it's been kind of wild.
That's Keanu for you, man. That's Keanu.
And I do like the way you play it. I mean, these are the same people who made the Witcher games, and the Witcher 3, when I played through it, there's a lot of times you make a choice where you feel like you're trying to do it in the right way, but it's almost like something could go bad. It's like, I'm doing this, which was good, but it's also kind of horrible. And one case in point example was this one guy who he was a werewolf. But he would go and when he knew he was going to be the time to change, he had what he called his hunting lodge, and he would go hide out there, far away from anybody. So when he turned, he would not hurt anybody. And his wife wanted to have somebody murdered.
Ooh.
And she sent this person to the cabin with not knowing they were going to confront a werewolf. And you're being sent as a witcher to go and kill a werewolf that's killed a person. So, but you go in, when you find out the whole story, there's like, no, wait, this is not the werewolf's fault. He's done everything to try to not kill anybody, and it was his wife who wanted to bump somebody off. And so one of your options is to just kind of let it go, or for her punishment, you trap her where he's about to change and let him take her out.
It has a, it almost has, to me, it almost has a Incredible Hulk type feeling about it, where
it's a werewolf. In the traditional sense, you don't have any control.
You don't want to get angry. You don't want to take him out, but you confronted me. I didn't confront you. You don't want me to do something to you. You stay out of my path.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying not to hurt you. Stay away from me.
Yeah, so I'm a werewolf. When I know it's time for me to change, I'm going to be out here, and if I go hunting, I'm going to go hunt animals. And no biggie,
And, you know when it's time to change, you got to rearrange who you are and what you're going to be.
All right, Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
But there's similar choices, though, in Cyberpunk 2077 that made me felt like that. But my goal here, because you could be a full-on criminal if you want to, but I'm being a slightly different sort of Batman, where Batman was the hero that Gotham deserved, but not the one it needed right now. I'm the opposite. I am the hero Night City needs, but not what it deserves. Because occasionally I do something that kind of backfires, but most of the time, my biggest hit pieces that I want to go after is scavengers. Scavengers will kidnap people, put them in ice water, and then they'll start ripping their chrome, their stuff out of them, and leave them a destroyed, bloody wreck and kill them.
That sounds a little bit like you know what it almost reminds me of when you was talking about the eye sockets on. It reminds me a little bit of the Borg.
Yeah, you're kind of Borging yourself, except for you're completely in control of yourself.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, I mean, you're still you. I mean, it's basically you're making yourself bionic. If you know, the concept of cyberpunk is not a new thing. It's kind of like steampunk. It's where everything's steam, except for cyberpunk. It's more you're making a cyborg of yourself to give yourself abilities. Because
basically, as far as it's a very awesome idea, but the Borg is almost like a zombie version, if you will, which is really an awesome idea.
They're creepy as zombies. They totally are.
Oh gosh, but
because they even look dead.
Terrifying. They do. Oh yeah, very terrifying. Yeah. I mean, yet they have to have flesh. Or talking about the Borg, they had to have flesh, or they'd be, they would truly die. Yeah. They can't live without it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they're
go ahead.
Creepy. Yeah. So I've had issues with scavengers, and there's a very slightly adult theme of people that I was trying to help. At one point, it did backfire, but I go for the disgusting things that some people do in this game. I will gladly be the one that kills them.
Yeah,
and I've even got a katana, and I'm like, okay, you all brought a gun to a katana fight, and so I love getting in there and just hacking. And it's pretty graphic. You can hack their arms and everything. I mean, as you swing it. So, but I've actually had some fun with it. But do not let your kids play this game. Holy cow!
Oh,
there are some, and there is like a red light district you can wander into, and oh my goodness, there is some stuff. So, but I've been having some fun with it, but it does not get a Neverland endorsement here at the Fandom Nexus. So, but anyways, let's dive into some news because there's been actually quite a bit. So let's see which button. It's that one, I think. Hey, I got the right button this week. I get it wrong so many times.
Spanning the Disney and geek universe to bring you the best in comics, toys, movies, and entertainment. This is news from around Neverland.
All right, so this came from the New York Post, and actually on January 11th, and maybe some people already know this, and I don't normally cover anything Disney, but the Walt Disney Company under Bob Iger, he's actually scrapping some of the price hikes that have been going on at the Disney theme parks that were put in place by his predecessor, Bob Chapek. And a letter came out from the Disney theme parks chairman, Josh D'Amaro, I think, to the employees announcing that the company is going to reinstate free services that were introduced during Iger's first go-around as the CEO before Bob Chapek replaced him in 2020. So if you're a visitor to the Disney theme parks in Orlando and Anaheim, California, you're no longer going to be charged to download a photo of yourself on a ride. You still have to pay for the pictures if you want to print, but you can download it on your phone. And Chapek also, Chapek had scrapped this free service back in 2021. And the Disney World annual pass holders were not able to download photos snapped during rides and meet and greets in Disney without paying for stuff. Let's see. Iger is also scrapping some parking fees that he instituted for guests at Disney-run hotels, which there are some hotels that actually still do this. My wife has run into this in Texas when she was doing stuff with her students that they had to pay to park a vehicle. And that was one of the things, boy, that ticked a lot of people off. It's like, you mean I'm paying all this money, and now if I stay in a resort, I got to pay to park my car here? So this happened in 2018. So that's something actually Iger had done, but he's taken that away. Then let's see. The price to enter Disney World, where the most expensive ticket costing $159 was raised to $189 last month, will remain in place. Disney also raised the prices of its passes and its Genie Plus line skipping add-on to Disneyland last year. So there's a few things that's been, yay, that's kind of helpful. That's nice. But he's keeping a lot of stuff that was also really annoying, like the Genie Plus thing and the high ticket price. I think there might be some talk that he's going to try to change some of that. I don't know if anything has changed since this news came out. But this, I would call that a step in the right direction. At least, but I'm still, Disney's left me. But that's at least I appreciate that he's trying to put some efforts to regain their good name. That although there's some people that are just diehards that they don't care what they do, they're going to just, oh, it's wonderful. And I'm sorry, I love Disney, but I'm a vintage Disney fan more than I am modern Disney. Well,
some people get so into and I'm not just talking Disney, on so many things it becomes nearly a religion, and that's ridiculous. You gotta.
Okay, there we go. I was afraid I wasn't going to get this.
There's it, man.
Yeah, I'm going over here directly to IOI Interactive's website here. And this now actually happened already January 26th. So the Hitman trilogy of these, the newer kind of rebooted series, I guess you would call it, is a nice contained story within 3 games. So one of the strengths of these games has been is additional content where you could purchase, hard to kill type subjects or whatever. You'd have all these extra side assignments you could get. So now that Hitman 3 has been out for a little while now, they want to keep it going as kind of an online. They've called Hitman 3 will become Hitman World of Assassination, which will also include access to Hitman 1 and 2 through our existing Access Pass system, which I have all 3 of them anyway. Current Hitman 3 owners will get a free upgrade to Hitman World of Assassination on all platforms. Now, what this is, and I'm sorry, I'm going to spoil things just a little bit, okay? So, so Agent 47 has worked for an organization called the ICA throughout this trilogy, but at the end there is no more ICA, and he's kind of gone into a retirement. He's got all his memories back, so he knows who he was before and all that kind of thing. And then he gets a call from Diana Burnside, or is it Burnwood? I think it's Burnwood. Yeah, says we're there's only one thing we're good at. And that's going after these people that seem to be above the law, that think they're never going to be punished for their crimes. And that's what we do. So it's freelance mode, where you get to go at a lot of locations you've already played in. And I've watched a little bit of this stuff. I haven't gotten to try this out yet. But you go into some of the areas that you've played in, and you have maybe a different target than what you normally would have had in the main game that you're going to get. And they'll come up with campaigns for each one for targets. And you have in your freelance area, you have a whole new office area, and you had when I was watching some people play this, you'd have like an entire wall of where you could see there's weapon storage, but there's no weapons there except there's one gun. And so you can take that one gun with you into your first mission, and you will gain weapons as you complete missions. But if you fail, you're going to lose whatever weapons or whatever gear you were carrying with you. So it keeps a realistic type of thing.
So what does ICA stand for exactly?
I forgot. But they will. I kill bad guys, or I kill a-holes. I don't know. No, I'm sorry. But kill was started with C. I forgot what the ICA stood for.
I didn't know if it was intelligence or.
What the ICA mainly did is, and they would take it as contracts. But basically, and so it'd be a contract where, like one particular one that I really enjoyed taking this jerk out is this guy was kind of this pop star, rock star guy, and he had murdered his fiance and got away with it. So the contract was to take him out. So it's people who get away with stuff, somebody will put it out of the contract. So you're still kind of doing things by contract. So you're not fully working for the government, but you're taking out the bad guys because somebody puts in a contract, say, hey, this person's doing these horrible things and they cannot be convicted in a court of law. The only way to stop them is to take them down. And sometimes like one of the toughest ones in the first game was these two, it was in a foreign country. Because these are supposed to take place out of Britain, I think, mostly. But it was, I had to take out this military general and his associates. They were going to start a coup in their country, and they were going to be killing a lot of people. So the idea was I go in there and put a stop to it. So you're still stopping the kind of plots that a James Bond would be stopping. but it's not a government giving the call. It's somebody alerting you, and you're getting paid as it's a contract to go and take out these bad people. So it's a different take on things. So it's really been kind of fun. But the ICA was this organization, and part of it was finding out that there was this other organization called Providence that it turns out that they were the ones pulling strings behind a lot of things all over the world. And it's basically it's you versus Providence through most of these games. Because it turns out a lot of these targets that you're being sent after are actually Providence people that are controlling the world behind the scenes. And so the world is truly free when I take Providence down. So it was a lot of fun, but it's great because it's like an espionage game without being sneaky like Solid Snake.
I thought maybe ICA was something like CIA. I just thought maybe it was connected.
No, that would be MI6. But this is the ICA, which was located in Britain, but they were more of we got a contract for this bad guy. Okay, this is also from January 19th, so some of you might know this, but Disney canceling low-occupancy Galactic Star Cruiser voyages. Basically, the Galactic Star Cruiser was not making enough money because people couldn't afford to go, and they kind of got a temporary shutdown. I don't remember when they were supposed to be coming back, but everybody's kind of been like, ha, 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 laughing at them because yeah, see, you made something we couldn't afford to do, and eventually you're going to run out of people who could afford, and they've gone on their vacation. The rest of us are going to be like, wow, that sounds neat, a Star Wars vacation, but I can't afford you. So yeah, so if you don't get enough occupancy in a quote unquote voyage on the ship, they will cancel the trip and people get refunded or get a chance to reschedule. That's pretty much what's happening. Kind of like a low occupancy class in college. If during a summer class, they don't get enough students registered for that class will be canceled. Kind of like that. So it's like, well, yeah, messed up. And the other big thing, though, of course, happening around Walt Disney World, and I don't know if Disneyland has shut theirs down yet, but Splash Mountain is officially closed and is being turned right now into a Princess and the Frog, even though I'd rather have it a restaurant, but whatever. That was just significant. So another bit of significant stuff I got sent actually that's Disney related is this is just kind of fun. And I think the Tron coaster, I think they've done some test riding on it now, so I think it's about done. But I got sent some photos from one of my professors from college. His cousin's husband as some sort of a roofer or whatever, but they got to help work on the Tron ride with the construction. And so his cousin's husband sent him some pictures, and he sent them on to me, actually, in my phone just the other day.
I can't wait for the Tron thing. That'll be great.
Yeah, so that would be kind of neat. Another bit of Disney news is the 100-year cereals that I'm sure you all are out and probably have tried it if you were interested in. And the one thing I find funny is you've got 100 years, and yet the only old character you find on there is the obligatory Mickey. They all are more recent characters, the ones that Disney doesn't feel they need to apologize for, maybe, or perhaps just if they're aiming at kids, the kids are not going to know these old characters, which I don't understand why they wouldn't know some of these classic characters, because dadgummit, show your kids those classic movies. They're better than what they're putting out now. Thank you very much.
The only one I bought, honestly, was the Mickey Mouse one, because I
The
only
Mickey
bought
Mouse
it for the
Club
box.
one,
The cereal's okay. I don't have a problem with that, but really I just bought it because I like the box. It's the old classic Mickey Mouse Club, really. Because the other one, the woke Disney box, as you were just talking about. Not that it's necessarily woke Disney, but it's the newer stuff. I don't care about it. And most of these cereals nowadays are just the same thing, and I'm like, I don't care.
I bought it for the boxes, and I'm still kind of munching on the I believe it's the Musketeer cereals, the ones that kind of reminded me of Crunch Berries. They're little Mickey heads that are little berry shaped. Tasting, those are pretty good.
I think that's the other one. I don't know. Maybe
is that the one that's the cake ones then? Because I know I've eaten them. I dumped them out of the box and into Tupperware containers. Remember, like I keep my multi-meal type bag cereals in. So I'm eating it, and I don't know which one it is I'm eating. But the fruit ones with the Mickey-shaped heads are pretty good.
Yeah, that's the other one that you were talking about.
The 100-year one.
Okay. The cake ones are the Mickey Mouse. I actually opened up the box upside down so that it will look like it's unopened, but it really is.
I get you.
I'm being slick. No. In truthfulness, I bought it for the box. It's really the truth about it. I'm going to put it with the Mickey stuff, in my collection and all.
Yeah.
I'm a nerd.
That's what I did. I bought it for the box. That's where I got my Patrick Mahomes cereal and my Spider-Man cereal. I've kept the boxes, but I ate the cereal because I'm not going to waste food.
I didn't even open my Patrick Mahomes box because that one I was like, I'm not touching it.
I wanted to eat it. I wanted to try it.
So I got enough flakes. I'm flaky enough as it is.
And it was pretty much like a sweet cornflakes, but he had put some nutrition. He didn't want to make it sugary and everything. So I haven't gotten my Travis Kelce flakes yet. I was saying that they did those. As far as I know, it's probably
love
the same
him, too.
serial. It's just getting out Travis Kelce on the cover.
Probably.
So, who knows? But you know what else came out? And I didn't think I was going to be interested in this, but I saw a few things that I was like, oh, hey, neat. The Oscar nominations came out January 24th.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, so see how behind we are?
Yeah.
But what got my attention, Top Gun Maverick got a Best Picture nod.
I just picked that up a while ago with it.
Yes, indeed. Let me see if I can find the daggum list. I thought this was my list. Here we go. All right, so Best Picture, All Quiet on the Western Front, which I didn't realize was a foreign-made remake.
Really?
Yeah. I was kind of surprised. I can't remember. I haven't seen the original one either. I've heard this one's pretty gruesome at times.
They've made 2 or 3 versions back in the day, and I remember as a kid, I usually watched the second version that was, I believe, made for TV, but it had what's his name? The one who played John Boy. I can't think of his name right now. But
yeah, that guy.
Yeah, John Boy.
Yeah.
But such a good film. I remember they used to make me talk about it in school. One of my teachers made me be the one to talk about it because the way it ends, I don't want to ruin it for anyone, but the way it ends is a young man basically wasn't paying attention, and he was drawing and everything. And so the teacher made me talk about it because she said, you see what happens, Philip, when you don't pay attention, when you're too busy drawing instead of paying attention in class, what could happen to you? And you see, Philip, so she made me get up and talk to the kids why it's so important to pay attention in school, because I spent too much time drawing and not paying attention in class.
Yeah.
So that's because I wanted you specifically, Philip, to be the one to tell the kids why they need to start paying attention to class, because these things could happen in life, and you need to be the one. And I was like, oh, thanks a lot. Don't make me feel any worse.
Yeah.
Shoot.
I just want to hit on a few highlights within, because Best Picture, as I mentioned, All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, Way of Water, well, of course, Elvis,
I didn't watch it
that
yet.
Elvis movie, which that's pretty awesome. Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I keep hearing I need to watch, but I'm a little hesitant because it does have an R rating, and I haven't seen it anywhere streaming. I don't want to buy it to watch
that's
it.
That's a long list.
Well, we're not going to hit everything. The Fablemans is actually a Steven Spielberg movie I'd kind of like to check out. But Top Gun Maverick, as I mentioned, and then the rest of them I have no idea. I've never heard of them.
I can't even pronounce some of those names.
Yeah, and Best Direction, of course, Everything Everywhere All at Once is in there in The Fablemans. So Steven Spielberg up for something again. Austin Butler, though, is up for Best Actor. Of course, he played Elvis, and holy cannoli, he was Elvis.
Now, for him, I would say that I think he did do. I didn't care for the movie really at all, but I thought he did a great job as Elvis. He really did.
Now, didn't we do a positive review on that? It's changed for you.
No, I just didn't like it. I thought I liked parts of it. I just didn't think it was a good movie. I thought that it was too fairy tale in the sense that they changed the film. They changed Elvis's life, and they changed a lot of things that happened, and they didn't put it in. I said I liked it okay. I didn't love it. And because they changed too much, and they also.
Well, it's not like it's a documentary.
Well, the other thing is they changed a lot of facts around. And I said that I liked it okay, but I didn't love it. And the problem I have with it is they're making it sound like it's such a great film. It's not a great film. They made so many things untrue and made it look like it really happened this way. And they made it happen out of stuff. I don't know. I just couldn't enjoy it. Plus, I don't say hate him, but I can't stand that director's movies.
Baz Luhrmann. He's definitely got a style. It kind of worked though the way he did it. I enjoyed it. So
it was too much.
It's depressing at the end though, but we knew the depressing ending was coming.
Well, we knew that was coming. But but most of the stuff he put in there was so unfactual. They made Elvis look a weird way than what he really was. And so it's not factual almost at all. But the positive thing about the movie was Austin Butler.
Yeah.
So I really hope that Austin Butler, if nothing else gets it, I hope Austin Butler does.
Yeah.
The only other thing about it that I like was there's only one other Elvis movie that's come out in which they made the Colonel look bad, and that was the TV movie they did of Elvis.
When that was the Kurt Russell?
No, because it was too. He was still alive at the time. The Colonel was the only other. Even though that was the first one they did after Elvis died. I mean, heck, he'd only been gone a year. But the other TV, it was a miniseries, and Randy, not Randy. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Quaid, Randy Quaid. Randy Quaid played the Colonel, and he made the Colonel look bad. So that was good because the Colonel wasn't a good guy.
Yeah.
He misused Elvis. That's a fact. He did. But at the same time, Elvis wouldn't have been where he was. So I guess there's some good things about the Colonel, just not too much. So, but Austin Butler, I would love to see him get this. I really would.
But anyways, I'm going to shoot that rabbit you've been chasing so we can keep going. So a couple of just major names in here. Colin Farrell with this Banshees of Inisherin, which I guess is like an Irish comedy. I'd kind of like to see it just because it's, Colin Farrell. And then I can't think of the actor's name that was at Braveheart and he played Mad Eye Moody. Gleason. I can't remember if it's Dom Hall or if Dom Hall is his son who's been in the newer Star Wars movies. But I'm kind of curious to check it out just because of them in it, but also the big talk has been about Brendan Fraser in The Whale.
I would love for him to get that.
Who, Brendan Fraser?
Brendan Fraser. Mm-hmm. Just because I love him so much, and I feel so bad for him because people have talked down on him for quite a while now, and it would be great to see him come back and do this, And
then Bill Nighy in there, which, of course, we know him mainly, I think, from being in Scrimjaw in the last Harry Potter movies, and also for, I believe he was Davy Jones, if I remember correctly, right? Yeah, in the Pirates
I think
of the Caribbean.
So. Yeah, and I gotta say, Colin Farrell, he was my favorite part of the Batman. He was my favorite part.
He was amazing in that.
Because if you hadn't told me that he was the one playing the Penguin, I would not have known.
Yeah.
Now that's an amazing actor. Now, granted, I gotta say, the makeup people, they
did amazing work. They're nominated. We're gonna get to that. I got a lot of stuff to get through.
Go ahead, buddy.
And I would at least want to say on Colin Farrell, like the first thing I saw him in was Daredevil, and it wasn't that impressive. But then I started seeing him in some other movies, like even the one about Pamela Travers. That I was like, man, Colin Farrell is just darn
I've seen him
good.
On a few things before then, even, and
I think there was something else too. But he is a great actor. I'd love for him to win it just because he's that good.
What was the one where him and Kiefer Sutherland were? Remember, it was way back when there was a guy who kept calling on that phone booth. I think it was called Phone Booth.
I didn't see that one,
but it's good. You ought to see it. Anyway, go ahead.
All right. I'm just going to also want to call out that for Best Actress in Leading Role, Michelle Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once, just because I like her. Because, she's a former Bond girl.
I don't think I've seen that.
Yeah, I have. That's the one I was mentioning before. I've heard so much stuff about, but it's got an R slapped on it, so I don't want to buy it because what if I find stuff too technical and I don't run it? But I'd like to see it, but I'm waiting for it to be on a streaming service so that I can just sit and watch it. Because I don't know if I'd want to own a copy because I don't tend to watch a lot of R movies. The older I'm getting, the more I'm not into it.
If we see it on one of our channels that we have, maybe we'll give it a whirl.
I'm sure it'll stream eventually, so I'm going to check it out. But I like Michelle Yeoh, and even I'm surprised she didn't get an Oscar nod for Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon way back in the day. That kind of surprised me.
Kate Blanchett's a great actress.
Yeah.
I saw that she's up for something.
Yeah, for something called Tar, but I'm rolling by.
I've heard of that. I don't know what that is.
Well, it's because we beat it out of you every night.
Yeah.
There it clicks. Look at there. Judd Hirsch has actually got a nomination here in a supporting role. Oh, there it is. It's Brendan Gleeson is the one I was thinking of in Banshees of Inisherin. But look, Judd Hirsch in The Fabelmans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
He's great.
But the big thing here, Best Actor in Supporting Role, Ki Hai Kwan in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Ki Hai Kwan, you know who that was, right?
I know the name. Who is that?
Short Round.
Whoa!
Oh, yeah, he got nominated. He's back.
Wow!
So
I love Ki Hai Kwan.
That's why I really would like to see the movie, but I just don't know that I want to buy it because what if I don't like it? So,
man, I got to see it now. That's fine.
That's an exciting thing. It's like, oh look, and of course, just for the sake of. Disney Marvel fans, Angela Bassett got herself a nomination for Black Panther and Wakanda Forever. She is a great actress.
She was great in that movie, too.
I haven't seen that one. I'm waiting for, I think it's going to be streaming on Disney Plus soon if it's not already.
Yeah.
I'll check it out then. So I was planning to watch it. Jamie Lee Curtis has got a nod in here. Look at there for Everything Everywhere All at Once. That is a mouthful of a title, too. So
it sounds like there's a lot of good actors.
She's a good actress. There's stuff in her personal life that drive me nuts, but never mind. We'll skip past that. There was even some. Never mind. I'm not going to go. Best costume design, Elvis. For costume design, yes, and of course Black Panther. Because you've got some really cool stuff in those anyway in the Black Panther movie. Anyway.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, Babylon. I see. That's one of them. I imagine they had to have a lot of good outfits for that.
Well, it's
Best sound.
That's the one where it's set in a certain time period and everything.
Yeah, those period movies, they have to have so many outfits. We take that stuff for granted.
I can't remember if it's supposed to be like the 30s or the 40s. I haven't watched it because like it's got a lot of like a lot of critical buzz, but then an audience, from what I've been seeing, the audience will be like, that wasn't good, and the critics were like, oh, it's wonderful. So I don't know.
I'm not talking about anyone else, but talking about myself. I've noticed that if I'm in a good mood, a movie is so much better than if I'm tired. If I'm tired and I go to see a movie, I notice me personally, I can be pretty critical.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, something. But when I'm sitting there and I'm feeling pretty good and the mood is just right, then man, I'm like, that wasn't near as bad as I thought it was going to be. That's me.
There are a couple things for best sound that I'm kind of excited for. Mainly Top Gun Maverick nominated for best sound. Because I mean, Elvis, of course, I'm sure you're going to get some for sound, but the Batman probably has some really neat stuff with as far as sound. But Top Gun Maverick, and I mean the sound is, goodness sakes. Best original score, there ain't nothing in there that I really recognize, but The Fablemans by John Williams, that was the Steven Spielberg movie that I'd like to check out. But they were so vague on the story of The Fablemans, what was going on. I was just like, well, it's a Spielberg movie. I might like it, so I think I'll want to check it out sometime. But of course, he's going to work with John Williams.
Most of his modern ones I've not been a huge fan of, but still a fan of most of them. I'm just not huge.
This one I almost feel like maybe it's a little bit autobiographic, or I'm probably saying that wrong, because it's about a young man who wants to become a filmmaker, and I'm like, I wonder if a little bit of this was some of his in there.
If nothing else, it's definitely a nod to some of the stuff he was into.
Yeah.
Now, if you see a shark jumping around his pool, now then we know.
Adapted screenplay. That's interesting. Top Gun Maverick was an adapted screenplay? I wonder what's that about. It's a story by Peter Craig and Justin Marks. Now I'm kind of curious. But they wrote a screenplay off of a story. Who'd have thought? I'm going to slide down here to something else. Animated short film. I didn't get to see any of these. Best animated film. I still need to see Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is nominated for best animated. I need to watch that.
I'm telling you, Jeremy, you're going to love it.
I know. I totally need to see it. Marcel, The Shell with Shoes On. I remember talking about the trailer, and it looked adorable, and I would like to check it out, but I'd never even heard of it coming into theaters. But it looked adorable. For those of you who are fans of it, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which that character spun off from Shrek, and I only watched one Shrek movie, so I haven't bothered with any Puss in Boots stuff.
I've seen a little bit of Puss in Boots. I've seen a couple of them, but that one I liked him as far as side characters because Antonio Banderas did a good job.
Because it's Antonio Banderas, he's always entertaining.
Yeah, and he is being him. He's like he's just great.
So The Sea Beast, which is something I meant to watch on Netflix, and then Turning Red, the dumpster fire, managed to get in there.
Yeah, I'm not. We know why that's in there, but
Turning Red was the dumpster fire. Let's move it on. I don't see anything that I am familiar with in the songs or international feature. I'm what's on is the international feature film. I thought Everything Everywhere All at Once would have been in there because it was foreign made. But there you go. Quiet on the Western Front, Germany. Who'd have thought? And then about American soldiers?
Yeah, but it takes place over there in Germany and such. Yeah. Most of it. So that, I can understand it.
Best makeup and hairstyling. This to me is going to be close between the Batman and Elvis. Because, you got to do a lot of stuff to, make a kid really look like Elvis. But the Batman, they got to get it just for, as we were saying earlier, the Penguin. Yeah. Wow. Wow. They're not going to get it for putting darkness around Robert Pattinson's eyes. But what they did to Colin Farrell.
That was beyond amazing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't recognize him.
Yeah.
Now, but you got to give credit where credit's due. He is so good. Colin Farrell's so good of an actor. He's such a great actor. I mean, he didn't just change his voice. He changed his voice. He changed his movements. He changed. That guy's a character, not a character actor. Excuse me.
Yes, that is a character actor.
Okay, character actor.
Because he's able to morph into a character. He's not a typecast. Although character actors very seldom get to be the star, because normally they go for that typecast. They want somebody to play a type, but he's not playing a type. He's playing a character.
He changed completely into him.
Yes, he did. Wow.
Like I said, I loved him. I was like, that is great. So cool.
Yes,
I loved it.
Best production design, couple of these. Elvis, that seems obvious that they have some production design because Baz Luhrmann does it. Avatar, The Way of Water, but I'm like, isn't that all animated? So I don't know if that counts.
Yeah.
Best cinematography, Elvis getting in there. I'm going to go with that one because that's the only one that I've seen.
They did an amazing job, and they made it feel like you were in the other time, the 60s.
And except for when rap music is playing over a 50s thing, you're like, what?
No, that's the thing that I really hated about the film. And if there's anything I hated about it was that I don't care for those films much, was that you would be in that time, and then they'd start rapping, and it took me out.
Yeah.
It took me out of the time
it's
and
like,
moment.
what? Visual effects.
Wasn't wise.
Visual effects is obviously Avatar: The Way of Water, which, goodness, let's face it, it's an animated movie. The Batman, Black Panther, but
that was good.
I'm going to Top Gun Maverick because
that was a great movie.
That was practical effects. That was some real stuff. They actually, Tom Cruise and the actors actually got into those planes and were in the back, pretending to fly them. That's awesome. So
and they had to, and not all of it was pretend, because
they were feeling those G's,
and they were in it.
Yes,
I mean, and not just that, Tom flies for real.
Yeah,
he can. That guy go. Here's the thing: whether you like Tom Cruise or not, you can make fun of him all you want. You can say, "Oh, he's a Scientologist," or whatever you want to say. I don't care. But I'll say this:
he's a great entertainer.
We know that he doesn't half anything. One reason why he is so good at what he does is he puts himself in it.
Yeah.
He goes all the way, and I respect that. I don't agree with him on everything in his life, but I respect the fact that when he goes in all the way.
Yes, indeedy.
With him, it's all or nothing. Is it all or nothing with you?
All righty. Now, this, I'm hoping James Gunn behaved himself, but I want to play the audio for some announcements that he made, and I know Philip is super excited.
You kid me, brother.
But here he comes. Oh, it's not playing through here. Hang on a second. I didn't set up a thing. Hopefully, it's been picking up your audio, but it's not picking up everything. Wow. Let me go. Okay, here we go.
Hey everybody, I'm James Gunn. I'm the co-CEO of DC Studios. So as many of you know, DC has been disconnected in film and television for a long time. And it's one of, our jobs, mine and Peter's, is to come in and make sure the DCU is connected in film, television, gaming, and animation. That the characters are consistent, played by the same actors, and it works within one story. And if something is outside of that, like Matt Reeves' Batman or Todd Phillips' Joker or Teen Titans Go, that it is clearly labeled as DC Elseworlds, outside of the mainstream DCU continuity. Now, Peter and I have gotten pretty lucky in terms of the 4 projects that are coming out over the next year. First, we have Shazam! Fury of the Gods. Shazam has always been off kind of in his own part of the DCU, so he connects very well. That moves directly into The Flash, a fantastic movie that I really love that resets the entire DC universe. Then to move into Blue Beetle, a fantastic film about a kid who's a marvelous part of the DCU, and then into Aquaman 2, which leads directly into our next few projects, which I'm going to tell you about now. So, Peter and I, along with a group of very talented writers, have started to map out an 8 to 10 year plan of what DC Studios will be in film, television, and gaming. This first chapter is called Gods and Monsters. Now, what I'm about to tell you, is a part of the first chapter. It's not the entire first chapter. The first project is Creature Commandos. Creature Commandos is an animated series. I've written all the episodes. Something we're going to do that's a little bit different at DC is we're going to have characters move into animation, out of animation, usually having the same actor play their voice as who plays them in live action. The next project up is Waller. This is a story of Amanda Waller, played by Viola Davis. Viola Davis is going to team up with members of Team Peacemaker, and this is a story that's been created by Crystal Henry, who did Watchmen, and Jeremy Carver, who created the Doom Patrol. It is a fantastic story that's out of this world, and I can't wait for people to see it. Okay, next up is the big one, the true beginning of the DCU. This is called Superman Legacy. This is being written by me. I'm in the middle of it. I'm having a great time doing it. And Superman will be released into theaters July 11th, 2025. Okay, the next thing is a big premiere HBO television series called Lanterns. This is a story of a couple of Green Lanterns, John Stewart and Hal Jordan, and we have a few other Lanterns peppered in there, but this is really a terrestrial-based TV show, which is almost like True Detective, with a couple of Green Lanterns who are space cops watching over Precinct Earth. In it, they discover a terrifying mystery that ties into our larger story of the DCU. Next is a big movie called The Authority. The Authority is a passion project of mine. It's based on the marvelous Wildstorm characters we are now bringing into the DCU and will interact with all of our primary DCU characters. The Authority are a group of superheroes who think the world is broken and they want to fix it by any means necessary. I think it's a very different look at superheroes. We're doing a television series called Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost is the story of Paradise Island, usually known as Themyscira, which is the birthplace of Wonder Woman. It's almost like Game of Thrones with Westeros, but with all of the inhabitants of Paradise Island. The introduction of the DCU's Batman is The Brave and the Bold. The Brave and the Bold is the story of Batman and his actual son, Damian Wayne. This is based on Grant Morrison's great comic book run. Damian Wayne is my favorite Robin. He's a little assassin who Batman tries to get in line, and so this is the story of the two of them and the beginning of sort of the Bat family in the DCU. Next up is a TV series called Booster Gold. Booster Gold is one of comics' really popular cult heroes. He is a fascinating guy. He's a loser from the future who uses future technology to come back to present day and become a superhero so that people will love him. It is basically the superhero story of imposter syndrome on an HBO Max series. One of my favorite comic book series from last year was Tom King's run on Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. And so we're going to turn that into a big science fiction epic film. Now, Superman is a guy who was sent to Earth and raised by loving parents, whereas Supergirl in this story, she is a character who was raised on a chunk of Krypton. She watched everybody around her perish in some terrible way, so she's a much more jaded character. And that brings me to Swamp Thing, the last thing we're going to talk about, a very dark horror story in the origins of the monster who is Swamp Thing. And although it's totally outside of the rest of the DCU, it will still feed into the rest of the stories. Anyway, those are the stories that I can tell you about right now. I've loved the DC characters since I was a child. They're incredibly important to me. I knew that this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to do something very different. One of the things that's very important for me in all of these movies and TV series is that the director's vision and the vision of the writers and all of the creators is unique and something special. Storytelling is always king. That's all that matters to us. And I want to be true to those stories. I want to be true to you guys and really give you something different than you've ever seen before. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I appreciate you watching. I hope this was exciting for you because it's really exciting for me. And I can't wait to start to dive into these stories with you guys on this grand adventure. Thank you so much.
Yep, and we'll see. We'll see. I'm just gonna buckle up and see what they do because a Lantern series sounds cool. I must say,
I'm excited, super excited. You know me.
Yeah,
I love Marvel. Marvel is A. You know me. I'm talking about with me personally is A, and DC's A+. Now, why? Because first of all, DC was first, and so there would not have been a Marvel without DC in the sense that it set the comic book stuff going crazy. You may say, well, what? You don't know? Yeah, I do, because that's what set the whole superhero stuff going crazy. And it's at that time that
Superman
Marvel started, right? Yeah,
Superman
exactly.
launched everybody where everybody's like, we need to have our own kind of Superman.
And at that same time, Marvel did start right after, but they just had a different name.
Yeah.
But then Jack Kirby was involved. You know, he was doing the Captain America, all that. But then years later, this is why I love Marvel too. Later on, Marvel started bringing out different type stuff because of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and all that. But that made DC try a little harder. See, that's why they're both so great. Yeah. But so it's time that they start allowing DC to do better. And I love now that they're going to bring it all together. I'm talking about the cartoons, and they didn't go so deep into the game stuff, but he kept saying gaming and gaming and gaming.
Yeah.
So I would love. I'm going to love this. It's so confusing, at least it has been the last 10, 15 years, where you have, I say confusing, I've watched most of it, but it is annoying where they say, well, the TV Flash is so much better than the movie Flash, and that's been true. But it's like, there shouldn't be 15 Flashes at the same time. And you know what I mean? And of course I'm exaggerating, but not by much. You have the cartoon Flashes, and you have the TV Flashes and the movie Flash. at this point, combine them. As long as it's a good Flash or whatever, combine them and then have the movie Superman. And plus, I saw another thing where he was talking and he said Superman should be about hope and joy and he should be a guiding light. And I'm like, that's exactly right. That's been the problem. And as much as I love Henry Cavill, or however you want to say it,
I think it is Cavill. He was a good actor for Superman, but they gave him terrible scripts to work with.
That's exactly right. He was perfect for Superman. I said that long before he was ever Superman. But the first time I saw him act, I said that he'd be perfect for Superman. He was like 14 years old.
Yeah, Count of Monte Cristo.
Count of Monte Cristo. That was exactly right. But he had a horrible script, and it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault at all.
Yeah.
He's still a great actor.
And I wouldn't mind if they would have kept him, but I guess they fired him. But, you can bring him back. He'd be a good Superman given the right script.
You know why they did, though, is because of his age. He's just a little bit younger than me. So by the time, because you hear what he just said, 8 to 10 years, Superman would be nearly 55 or so by the time it's done. So I can kind of understand that. It's not because anything against him. Plus, here's the other thing that would make it a mistake. Having to start over with the same Superman and all that stuff. I mean, you can get away with it maybe with the Flash because they still haven't said they're going to use him specifically. They're kind of waiting on this.
I think they're going to put that movie out and then get rid of the guy. They really just should.
Yeah, it's also
been a mess.
It depends on whether he can really get fixed. He's talking about the actor who plays Flash. He's right now in hospitals trying to get stuff taken care of because he's got a lot of problems. And I'm really hoping he can get help because I don't want to bat on anybody. But at the same time, that's up to him. Yeah. What can you say?
Yeah, but I'm just going to sit back and because they're bringing a lot of characters that I am not familiar with.
I love Booster Gold.
Yeah, Booster Gold sounds like fun to me. You could have a lot of fun with that.
Now that they're bringing out Blue Beetle, Blue Beetle and Booster Gold go together.
Oh, okay.
I got toys about them recently. I love them
because I've liked the I don't know if it's a reimagining, but as Blue Beetle has been presented and Batman Brave and the Bold, that animated series is where I really got familiar with Blue Beetle, and it was like this kid. What is the name? Jaime.
That's the third edition, the third version of Blue Beetle.
But I like this. Like this kid suddenly gets all this tech suit, and he's learning as he goes how to work with this alien tech suit. And I was like, this is fun.
Now the second one is my favorite version, but I can understand why they have to do the new version, because first of all, because Jaime is more he's more, not just because he's Latino and all that stuff, but I more or less mean because he's also got that high tech stuff, which is kind of a combination of somewhat of the second version too. But it's great to have Blue Beetle with Booster Gold. Booster Gold, I tell you what, I would love if it's a shame he's so much older now than he was, but Owen Wilson would have been back in the days. He would have been perfect.
Yes,
really
that would have been fun.
You know what I mean? Can you hear it almost?
Oh my goodness.
Hey man, I'm like, he would have been perfect because he's got that Booster Gold and Owen Wilson are the same guy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Oh, that'd have been so great.
It would have been so great because I don't know if you saw that movie he put on Netflix where he's kind of like a superhero, but I'm telling you, that's the Booster Gold.
I meant to watch that one. I remember seeing stuff about it.
It's really good.
Is that the one where his kids wander into his lair where all his gear is or something?
Yeah.
I meant to watch it, but haven't been watching much TV.
He almost has that Booster Gold attitude. And I'm telling you, he's Booster Gold, man.
Oh, that'd be great.
But Booster Gold, I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, because that could be a lot of fun.
That's one thing I love about him so far is he's throwing you people that you don't really expect. Because you almost expected right away to get the same. This is not an insult to those characters I love, but you almost expect right away to get the same old Batman that you're used to getting, the same Superman, Green Lantern, Aquaman, the same. And you are getting some of those, but they're giving you a little bit of different viewpoint of Batman. Because we're not used to having the Batman family.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? We may get Nightwing with that. We may get.
I kind of hope that we get like a Michael, because they want a slightly older Batman who's got a son. Can we get Michael Keaton back?
Well, I already read something that they're not saying Michael Keaton's gone. They didn't say he's gone yet
because he's supposed to be in the Flash movies. So
yeah, he's in that. And they said that they said that things will be different, but Michael Keaton still isn't gone yet. They said that he may still be around. So I'm hoping that we're still going to get a good look at Michael Keaton because I love him.
Yeah, because what all has he done in between? If we just picked up from Batman Returns and abandoned the other two movies, what has he done? He's maybe he's had a Robin that became a Nightwing, and then another Robin that was supposed to became the Red Hood. And then of course I'm not a fan of Damian Wayne.
But
I guess he makes a good balance to Batman, where he's trying to teach this kid to not be a killer.
Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great though to have had? Think of all we've missed. There may have been a Ra's al Ghul. That he fought, and all the people you could put in there, and how much fun that would be.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that would be an awesome.
There's a lot of potential here, but it's also kind of like, all right, seeing what Marvel did and what Disney's doing with Star Wars, and like, okay, we need to do that, which they should have been doing. But they've got a lot, because I mean, for years they've been making stuff that's been unrelated. Like they've got so many, and they actually got some really good animated features that they've done, and all the different movies. I mean, that it's like they got to like toss everything and say, okay, here we go. We're going to start over again and try to keep it all in a good continuity.
I love that too. That his is kind of interesting. You see, here's the whole thing. You and I've said this before. Just because something happens that's bad doesn't mean it's bad for real. Because the whole thing that happened with Marvel, where he felt kind of hurt, and he went away for a short moment. Talking about this guy here, Gunn or whatever,
James Gunn.
He went away. James Gunn. He went away for just a moment, and he went to DC, and he made that Squadron or whatever.
Suicide Squad.
Squad. And I didn't care for those all that much, but his one wasn't so bad. But he did that, and from doing that, and he got involved with them. He said it was really weird in the sense that all their films don't mesh well. They're like, this one's bouncing off this wall, that one's bouncing off that wall. And when I was reading all that, I was like, yes, that's the problem. It's not that they're all bad films. It's that it's like going to a salad bar and what's this here, what's that there? It's too all over the place, and there needs to be somewhat of a balance. And that's why I'm glad that he's kind of thinking that through. And I also like that he's like the co-director there. He's got another guy there. I like that you have more than one guy and they're kind of balancing it together. That's a good thing, because you get to have more than one brain working together, and that's a good balance. I like that.
If we ain't careful, it's going to be a 3-hour show.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll shut up.
Now, that was just a news story, but yeah.
You know me.
Now, I'm hoping you've done your homework a little bit here with the WWE 2023, and you can tell us some stuff about this coming out.
Oh, you bet.
Because that was just announced, not this past week, but the week before, right?
Yeah, and I'm excited about that. I already ordered mine.
Yeah, of course you have.
I can't wait. There's the things that I've been watching every day. I watch the new stuff that comes in from Smack Talks is a good guy to watch because he keeps up with it, and a few other people. They've announced so far a lot of the people that you'll get with it, and they're the show. What's it called? The show. I can't think of the word right now. Where you get to have a story which is a show. I can't think of the name. Show something. Anyway, you get to have a story. This time you're going through the career of John Cena.
Showcase,
and thank you. Yeah, showcase. I couldn't think of the word for it. Boy, listen to me. But you go through John Cena's career. But usually in the showcase, you're as that character. In this case, you're going against that character. Because so many people want to defeat John Cena, I don't know anyone in particular, Jeremy Shields. But you get to.
You're not supposed to use my last name. Nobody knows my last name,
I'm
dude.
So sorry. What's the matter with the his phone
now
number?
I'm going to have stalkers.
No, he's going to be taking. You're going to be able to fight John Cena. I know it showed that you get to be Batista. Taking on back to James Gunn here, because you got Batista, right? So Batista, you get to be RVD is one of them that you get to be, and he's in this because now some people say, they can't do John Cena completely because you don't get to have CM Punk and others. Well, sure, you don't get to have everybody, but for a 20-something year career, of course you can't have every match, but that's okay. It's okay you don't get to have every match.
You can get the big one with The Rock.
Yeah, exactly. You get that one. You'll get a few others, and it looks really good so far. Now they said there's some changes to the matches of how you do the pins and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's the same. And as far as that goes, but according to them, creative is going to be better, but it could be them trying to sell the game. Who knows?
Yeah.
But at the same time, they say that our creation is going to look more like the people in the game. But again, that could be them selling. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
they're still going to charge you up the yin yang for just to try to get more wrestlers.
You know how that goes.
They are scamming you, folks.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to it because
you already been scammed and paid out all your money. You probably did the $110 Ultimate version, didn't you?
You know that. But here's the thing. I get my money's worth in this, don't I, Jeremy?
Yeah, you do, because you really don't play a lot of games. So, but this is your thing.
No,
so
this is my thing. I play other games, but not like I do this.
Right.
I create. I put TVs and shows on the other TV, and I play on this, and this is my bread and butter when it comes to games.
Yep.
Because I look forward to it every year.
Yeah.
And they're doing stuff that I've never seen them do before for it, and it looks like a lot of fun. And and plus one of the guys who I've missed for years, who's always helped to make the moves smoother and better. His name is Brian Williams, and he is back. And he left the other what was it called?
THQ.
Yeah, he left THQ to come back and work with this company, and I am super excited to see him back. So anyway, needless to say, I'm more than excited.
Yeah, and I know I'll get my copy eventually, but I'm gonna wait till I can get it on sale or something. I think because I don't really watch wrestling no more. But my fun is just making characters or downloading what other people make, and then making my own shows with only those characters. My fantasy league.
I'm not trying to pimp it, but if there's ever been a good time to start watching again, it'd be now. And
yeah, with Triple H running, I've been hearing nice things.
Triple H is doing the creative, and I'm telling you, folks, he is good. He makes it exciting again.
Yeah,
he really does. So this would be a good time to start watching if you want to watch.
If I find time to actually sit and watch TV, because I guess I should watch the Royal Rumble and then pick up Raw and SmackDown, because that's all on Paramount Plus, isn't it?
That's right, and you can do it through me because you know that I've already got you on there. So.
Yeah, so I could sit down and start watching. Not Paramount Plus, and then Peacock. Yeah,
Peacock. And I pay for it, and as you know that you're on mine, so you don't have to worry about all that.
I mainly been watching like a lot of when I do watch it. I watch the old shows, and I've been enjoying the old stuff.
It's
man.
Fun.
Oh yes,
it's fun.
Gotta love it.
Anyway,
alrighty. Well, it's time we go visit the trailer park because I got a ton at the trailer park.
Yay!
Mama, another gator got in the house.
Another gator? Give me that sugar. Come here.
Get him, Mom. Get that gator.
The Neverland trailer park.
Now, this isn't going to be in theaters, but I wanted to share it. Batman, The Doom That Came to Gotham. It is a sequel to Gotham by Gaslight.
Oh, I got that.
Doom. The great doom is coming.
The sins of the Father are heaped upon the Son.
You have no clue the power this book possesses.
I know those who seek it mean to do this city harm.
Before it can be truly saved, Gotham must be burned to the ground.
Talking dead folks, reptile plagues, it's not natural.
It's a cult that has long ties to Gotham.
Spirit, come to us now.
I can't pretend to know exactly what I'm about to face, but I do know that I must stop it.
We mean to give this city purpose and honor the damnation which bore it.
Mercy.
What did this?
Master Bruce, what's happening to you?
What needs to happen?
Bruce Wayne must die. And through death, become this city's savior. Hello, Bruce.
It can't be.
So coming to 4K and Blu-ray. Let's see. Can I find a date? Yeah, inspired by the comic book series by Mike Mignola, which, Hellboy, Richard Pace and Troy Nixey. Batman, The Doom That Came to Gotham is a 1920s-based tale that finds explorer Bruce Wayne accidentally unleashing an ancient evil, expediting his return to Gotham City after a 2-decade hiatus. The logic, science-driven Batman must battle Lovecraftian supernatural forces threatening the sheer existence of Gotham, along the way being aided and confronted by reimagined versions of his well-known allies and enemies, including Green Arrow, Ra's al Ghul, Mr. Freeze, Two-Face, Killer Croc, Two-Face, James Gordon, and Bruce's beloved wards. Prepare for a mystical, often terrifying Batman adventure unlike any other. Which I know I watched the Gotham by Gaslight. I just don't remember. It was Jack the Ripper was the villain in that one. And
yeah, that's right. This is ironic because Gotham by Gaslight was, you were talking about Elseworlds earlier. I remember people complaining when they first heard that sounds so dumb. I said, listen to them. I said, Elseworlds are perfect because the first time I ever even heard of Elseworlds, this is what I'm saying to you. First time I heard of Elseworlds, I was 13. My brother-in-law showed me Gotham by Gaslight, or Gaslight Gotham, whatever it's called.
Gotham by Gaslight.
Yeah, and that was the first Elseworld I even ever heard of. And he showed me the graphic novel, they called him. Yeah. And that was that. And it showed Joker. And I remember that very, very well. And anyway, that was when I was just a 13-year-old kid at the time. So I'm very, very much impressed that they made that into a film.
Yeah.
And so
now
I'm
a
very
second
glad.
one even.
Yeah.
And it just, the style of it somehow just fits with Batman. It has that gothic feel.
It does. So whenever they said that they're going to make these other films, going back to what we were saying earlier, when they said they're going to call these other films that are not connected to the new universe Elseworlds, I said, that's perfect. Anyway,
yeah.
To this, I'm glad they're making a sequel to it. That's great.
Yep. It looks pretty cool.
Good animation, too.
Yeah. And we got to keep going to something else. Now, okay, these are not movie trailers. This is a game trailer, but I'm excited.
Oh,
Take this. Find them.
Let's get ambition.
Professor Weasley! We don't know what magic caused this.
Abracadabra!
Oh, look at scroll.
Your legacy begins now. Hogwarts Legacy. Live the unwritten.
February 10th, brother. I've got my deluxe copy ordered.
Cool, man.
I cannot wait. Cool. I cannot wait.
I was told that I'd try that, but it looks so cute.
Did you hear them say Professor Weasley?
Oh,
yes.
I didn't catch on.
Professor Weasley. Now, this is like in the 1800s, and I've seen a herbology professor with red hair. I'm like, that's got to be Professor Weasley. So, oh my gosh, I'm excited. But, you know what? I found some other video a few weeks ago. Simon Pegg has a little interview about playing a Black. Headmaster Black. You might remember him.
I'm Simon Pegg, and I'm playing Phineas Nigellus Black. Phineas Black is, at this point in the story, he's the headmaster of Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. We saw Phineas in the books and in the films. He was a portrait in Dumbledore's office, but this is at a time when he was actually actively the headmaster. Phineas Nigellus Black is the least popular headmaster in the history of Hogwarts.
You are here to focus on your academic futures.
He is a sort of pompous, disinterested.
You call that a shine on those boots? Do better.
He's not a good teacher or headmaster in any way. I think he would have taken on the role of headmaster because of the gig. You know, it's a prestigious position. I don't think he has any interest in children's education or being in any way a role model. It's not really his concern. What he wants is the kudos of being the headmaster of the greatest wizarding school in the world.
I wonder almost daily why I accepted this appointment from the ministry.
Yeah, he's just a bit of an idiot, really.
Has anyone seen my ivory-handled hand mirror? No, of course you haven't.
I may have to get that.
He is Sirius Black's great-great-grandfather. I think I'm right in saying that. So there's got to be a little bit of something fun in him.
I was going to say, the character looked a
Sirius
little bit like
is
Gary
not
Oldman.
the product of the Black family, seemingly. He's very different, and Phineas Nigellus is like the opposite of Sirius Black. He's not noble, he's not brave, he's just a self-interested fool. Through the game, we come across Phineas as a sort of help and a hindrance to the players who are working their way through the game.
Headmaster, I'm with a student and my schedule
Your schedule will wait indefinitely, as will your student.
He's entirely there to scupper the efforts of the player, I'm sure.
I haven't time for any of you at the moment. None. None at all. Move aside.
The lessons I think the students and players will get from Phineas Nigellus Black is don't be like Phineas Nigellus Black. He is not someone to aspire to. He is a self-involved, cantankerous, slightly childish figure, and I think be less like Phineas is the message of the game.
I said, I'm sure you all have plenty to do before classes begin tomorrow.
This looks fun.
I'm extremely excited to be part of the Harry Potter universe. I watched all those movies and always expected a role. Virtually every British actor has been in the Wizarding World films, apart from me. And so to get the role of, particularly a Black, one of the Black family, that's a cool thing, because Sirius was always my favourite character in the books. So it feels really good. It feels like something's finally been put right.
Okay, so for all of you that have not read the book, so Phineas Black, you first meet him actually in the Order of the Phoenix, where the Order of the Phoenix is hiding out in the Black home. The room that Harry is staying by himself has the portrait of Phineas Black, where Phineas can go between his Dumbledore's office portrait and Harry's room. And he's kind of there just almost critical of everything Harry does in that room. It's like, oh, yes, we know you're just a teenager and the whole world's against you. He's always just mocking throughout any time that he's over at the Black place. And as was noted in this little preview video, Phineas Black is actually the one that sells the minister in that one. You have to admit, Dumbledore's got style. He's actually the one that uttered that. And then, of course, what was left out of the Deathly Hallows films was that when they go to Grimmauld Place, which is the Black home estate that Harry inherits, they grab the portrait off the wall and Hermione hides it in the bag because they don't want him reporting where they're at to Snape. Because they know that, oh, wait, Snape's in that office, and Phineas could tell him anything. Because they think Snape is there anyway. They have no idea what's really going on. But they also try to use Phineas at one point to get some information when they're trying to locate if the cup that's in the vault, I believe, is the one that they're trying to locate. You know, it's the sword. But they even do a thing where they end up putting like a blindfold type of thing on the painting. And when Phineas comes through and he finds himself blindfolded by Hermione, he's like, "You are just ruining a piece of art. What are you doing?" You know.
What's so interesting to me is that the personality of who the painting is supposed to be comes across into the painting. That's interesting to me. I find it very unique.
Oh, yeah. So it's really having him as the headmaster at the time period of that is awesome. I was so excited to find that out.
Not that you all can see this, but I love that even though it looks similar to I can't think of the actor's name now who's doing the voice.
Simon Pegg.
Mm-hmm. It looks similar to Simon Pegg, but they also somehow have made it look a little bit like Gary Oldman.
Yeah. They gave him the hair.
Yeah, they gave him the hair, and they gave it just a little bit of expressions.
Yeah.
I was like, that it's like a combination of Simon Pegg and we'll have to call him Gary Pegg. It's got a Gary Pegman. Pegman.
This Friday, brother. Of course, I got to work on Friday though too. When I'm done with work though, Friday, you better believe. But then like I mentioned, on the 11th, I got to go to a Valentine's thing and go hang out with my wife.
Love it. And that's only in the evening. Besides, you're gonna love it. Hey, you're gonna spending time with your wife is a good thing, and she's a sweetheart. She really is.
So I'll have to take time out from playing. But that's also why during the course of this week, I'm trying to finish the backlog, and I'm hoping to finish Cyberpunk. And if I do finish Cyberpunk, I'm going to go back and play Tunic some more, which I played a little. I forgot to mention I was playing that, but that's a cute little game. But anyways, I feel like I'm a little late to the game playing this one, but Mandalorian Season 3.
Our people are scattered, like stars in the galaxy. What are we? What do we stand for? Being a Mandalorian's not just learning about how to fight. You also have to know how to navigate the galaxy. That way, you'll never be lost. I'm going to Mandalore so that I may be forgiven for my transgressions.
May the Force be with you!
This is the way.
There's something dangerous happening out there. And by the time it becomes big enough for you to act, it'll be too late.
Hang on, kid. This is the way.
March 1st, Mandalorian Season 3.
Go crazy, man.
Woo-hoo.
Did you see that little dude, that little bitty guy?
Oh, yes.
He was on those.
The sequel
I loved
ones.
him.
Mm-hmm.
He was one of the things I really enjoyed about some of those movies that came later on. Episode, whatever.
He was only in the final episode with the little guys who I'm thinking you're thinking. The little tiny dude.
Yeah, he was fun.
Yeah. The journeys of the Mandalorian through its Star Wars galaxy continue. Once a lone bounty hunter, Din Djarin has reunited with Grogu. Meanwhile, the New Republic struggles to lead the galaxy away from its dark history. The Mandalorian will cross paths with old allies and make new enemies as he and Grogu continue their journey together. I think we're going to see some of the beginnings of the First Order, perhaps.
Yeah, perhaps so.
And I wonder if they're going to be able to acknowledge, because he's going back to Mandalore, which his crime that he needs redemption for is simply removing his helmet. Because if for anyone who didn't watch the Clone Wars, you kind of put two and two together that this Mandalorian group that he's a part of was known as Death Watch during the Clone Wars, and they were a real threat to the Jedi. They were not happy people. So it's kind of interesting seeing that as a redemption. And now here's something that came out of left field, but you know what? Our buddy Sam Neill's in there. It's called The Portable Door. This actually came out of Jim Henson Productions.
Yeah, I actually saw
Ladies and gentlemen, the
picture. I
board.
didn't see anything else.
Glad you found us.
And what makes you think you'll be suited to this position?
Coincidence, really? Go on. Well, bloody alarm! My shoelace broke. Twice. A dog stole my scarf. Hey, grab that dog! Here I am.
Well, this has been a truly forgettable experience.
Bloody hell. I got a job!
You'll be working for the most innovative company in history.
We control their gut instincts. We arrange coincidences.
Is that what you do here? Make people fall in love? Oh, thank you so much.
That's why she's in our fast track program, and you, Paul, are not.
I've lost something immeasurably valuable. It's one of the most powerful and coveted items ever to exist. Found you.
Oh,
knock, knock. It's a door, portable door to be specific. You're not to share this with anyone. Can I trust you?
So it goes wherever you want to go. This has just become the best job in the world. Come on.
The portable door. When you fail, there are no words to describe what Mr. Wells will do to you.
If you do find it, this is who you come to. This company is at war with itself.
We were able to influence this consumer. Imagine what we can do to the masses. I can find a way out. That's what I do. No! Knock, knock. Who closes the door keeps the door. Do you get any idea what they do here? What?
Now, here's the thing here. All right, so it says in the description, the adventure begins. Two-time Academy Award winner Christopher Waltz and multi-Golden Globe nominee Sam Neill star in The Portable Door, adapted from Tom Holt's popular 7-book fantasy series. Here's the problem. The Portable Door is coming to Australian cinemas March 23rd. When the heck is it coming to America? It doesn't say. I want to watch this. This looks cool. And it's from Jim Henson's company, which I don't, with some of the creatures that may appear in it, which we only see a little bit of one, which seems to be computer animated. I hope there's some classic puppeteering going on with some of the creatures, but I don't know. All right, I think this next link I have is a repeat thing. But so I don't know when this is coming to the United States. It's coming to Australia on March 23rd. Someone in Australia, let us know how cool it is. I've never even heard of these books, but I'm hoping it's going to come here to the States pretty soon because that looked like fun.
Yeah, it does.
All right, here's something else that just looked kind of ridiculous and fun. It's coming to Netflix. It's called We Have a Ghost.
We're all here trying to get a fresh start.
Nothing like bad happened here, right?
You moved into the house of death? Everyone says it's haunted.
No, wait, don't go!
I miss the nightmare.
We have a ghost. Okay. No, I'm serious, Kevin. Caught him on camera. Oh, we gotta show Mom. No.
The entire world is captivated with Ernest.
3 million views in 6 minutes. That's money.
Our whole street's kind of mad thanks to you guys.
Jesus Christ.
Not funny.
I'm Kevin. Whoa, that's so trippy. Can you talk? What happened to you? You don't remember?
Mystery.
If we're gonna find out what happened, it's out there. It's Ernest!
Our orders are to apprehend the ghost.
Light him up!
Get off me!
Yeah. Being an outlaw suits you.
Where's Ernest? So, Frank, is he here now?
Ready to have some fun?
February 24th, that's Anthony Mackie, the Falcon his own self, or Captain America, I guess I should say, with, of course, the ghost being played. I forgot his name from Stranger Things. Well, but finding a ghost named Ernest haunting their new home turns Kevin's family into an overnight social media sensation. But when Kevin and Ernest go rogue to investigate the mystery of Ernest's past, they become a target of the CIA.
There you go. Ernest scared the stupid in this one.
Yeah, he is scaring stupid people instead.
That's right. That's what I mean.
I'm going to probably go through and edit. There's a near close swear word, but I don't think it came through all the way, so I'm a little worried. I'm going to have to edit that. But that just looks fun. I'm kind of hoping instead of just a movie, it's a series, because I would love this to take some time and just have some fun with it. So, and speaking of movies that I'm super excited for, March 17th, we got a new trailer here for this.
Oh, yes.
We are at war. We will annihilate everything. Champions of this realm can do nothing to stop us.
You are very menacing. I just want you to know that. A lot has changed in the last few years.
The wizard gave me superpowers. Well, then everybody got superpowers.
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
All right, here's the situation.
Started from the bottom, now the whole team here.
The daughters of Atlas are coming to hunt us.
Children stole the power of the gods. You ripped it from our father's core.
Okay, I feel like maybe I should be writing all this down.
Give us the powers, child.
Your world will not survive this. You want these powers? Come get them!
Hey, Khaleesi!
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
All right.
Started from the bottom, now the whole team here.
We have one job to do. Save the world. Billy!
I don't know how we fight powers like this.
I can't do this. Take my powers back. You gave them to me so you would take them back, right?
I spent millennia searching for a worthy champion. You know exactly what must be done.
Billy, what are you doing? I have to do this.
We end this now.
Yeah, we do.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Despite being the rap song being kind of annoying. Yeah, I know. It's really annoying. But
that was a really obnoxious song.
Shazam! Fury of the Gods.
I am looking forward to that.
Yes, I've been looking forward to this one since I saw the first. This is right now my favorite of the modern DC movies. Is
I love
Shazam, and this one looks great. Oh,
that and Aquaman, and I enjoyed Wonder Woman, at least the first one, and I enjoyed parts of the second one. But I'm really looking for, I guess, because those I just mentioned had nothing to do with Snyder's stuff,
right?
As far as he didn't get involved, and this is not. I'm not trying to put the guy down. It's just that in reality, I like that those films we just mentioned weren't so super dark and decadent and all that. And especially Shazam was really kind of lighthearted
and fun,
and I like that.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I like what he said a while ago. He said that these films are kind of in their own little thing because they're just kind of their own little thing.
Just please let him fight Black Adam or something. Put Black Adam into one of these.
It's perfect. It's perfect. It was a setup for it, and please let that happen.
Yes, because I want to see it. I want to see a Shazam and Black Adam, and they can fight each other, but then they can team up and save the world, and by the end or something.
That would be great. Because the thing about you can say what you want to about Black Adam, but The Rock is always had his arrogant way about him. The character, I mean, and even. I'm not saying the guy himself, Dwayne, necessarily is, but he's got at least a confidence about him.
Yeah.
And it would be perfect in the film to see Black Adam and Shazam fight and then kind of work together. That would be awesome.
Yes, it will.
That would be perfect.
Oh, indeed. But all right, we got to keep moving. So I'm going to hit this button.
Want to see a movie?
Yeah, any good?
It was bad?
I'm fuzzy on the whole good-bad thing.
My eyeballs could have been sucked from their sockets.
I like it a lot.
The best movie ever made.
A Fandom Nexus movie review.
All right, now this is a movie it's going to be difficult for you to see. I'm sure it'll be streaming soon. It was played for a limited run, just a weekend, but it did so well on the weekend that they did extend it up through February 1st for this film. It is Left Behind: Rise of the Antichrist. It is the like a third attempt to adapt the Left Behind series into films. And this one, right now, I mean, if you go to the leftbehindmovie.com, you can see if your church wants to try to set up a viewing of this movie, you can set up, something. I don't know how they're dealing with the costs of doing this, but this is a faith-based film, and it's actually good. This was directed by Kevin Sorbo. It's not the first time he's directed a film. He plays Rayford Steele. For those who might have read the books, you'll be familiar with that character. And as somebody myself who is very familiar with the story from the original books, I have the audio drama versions. I love them dearly. This, I mean, it was faithful to who the characters were, but it reimagined things like, well, what if it happened now? And so Buck Williams, the magazine journalist, has become maybe one of those popular nighttime cable news guys, right? So, I mean, they updated everybody to make them fit with our modern age, and even brought in a few modern things that has happened. And like they mentioned, like one character built his wealth or added to his wealth during COVID. You know, there's stuff like that. They've modernized it to where you can see like this, the rapture and the Antichrist and stuff could start happening very much in our time.
That's really good, though.
Yeah.
That's a good, wise way of doing it.
It is. And in the theaters, and I don't know if like when they stream it or they get it home, they even had a little message from Kevin Sorbo sharing the gospel and showing and sharing why biblical prophecy is so important for a Christian.
Amen.
Now, those of you non-Christians who are listening to us, I'm still going to advise you, go leftbehind.com/proof. And there's a lot of things to read, a lot of interesting stuff. There's Bible prophecy that has already come true, and it is kind of very undeniable. We're not talking Nostradamus where it's willy-nilly, kind of close, something like this might kind of happen. It is.
That's right.
Here it is. Wham, bam. It happened, and there's still stuff yet to come. But I enjoyed this. This held my attention the whole time. It's and they took their time. It's slow paced, but it's paced just about right to tell the story.
I want to see that. That's good.
Phil, buddy, we need to see if we can get a screening at the church.
Yeah, I would love to.
Invite the community. Great. It was good.
I could invite a couple other churches, but that'd be great.
Yeah,
to do.
If we need to combine with some of the churches and make sure we can screen it and hold enough people, it was powerful. It was powerful. I really enjoyed it. If you get a chance to view this film, I do recommend it, even if you're non-Christian, because they will. I think they address things and give you a good look, because basically all these characters at the beginning, they're all non-Christians. They're all what we would call left behind post-rapture. And so they're looking at a world. It's this one takes place like 6 months after. You're looking at a world where a good chunk of population just suddenly vanish. And they don't seem to have an explanation. But you can see the power players of the world trying to give a false explanation, or at the same time bringing the Antichrist to power, which, if you're not familiar with who the Antichrist is, and as far as in this story, I don't want to reveal it because they try to keep it a surprise. So if I hadn't been through those stories in the books, I wouldn't know that, well, there's the guy. There he is. Because he won't show up until late in the film. But they kind of leave it up to like you wouldn't maybe know who he was until he steps in his position.
I definitely want to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what my question, just for the folks who don't believe or whatever. Just watch it with the mindset of if you already think that it's a fairy tale, talking about those who don't believe in the Lord, if you already think it's a fairy tale or it's make believe or whatever, then what do you have to lose?
Right.
Watch it like you would any other film.
Yeah.
Because I watch movies not thinking this is real. So you have nothing to lose when you watch it if you're not a believer. So that's how I see it. Just watch it as you would any other film, and there you go.
There you go. Alrighty. Now, I wish I had a button for main content. I still don't have a sounder for that. But here it will play right here.
Come on in! We're nightmares on the best part of my day!
Okay, so how this topic came around, I was watching, there's a guy, Paul Joseph Watson, I believe hope I got his name right. I tend to watch, he's this British guy, but he kind of looks at the world. He does kind of his own journalism type of thing. But he was commenting, and he showed another video that was made. It was a man on the street in Britain. And they asked women and men, mainly, a lot of women, they asked, well, what are women good for? And the women would quickly say, everything. Then they would ask those same women, well, what are men good for? And they'd kind of look around like, I don't know. And they would even ask men, what are men good for? I don't know. And Paul points out, we are lacking, like in the modern day, good masculine male heroes to show what men are supposed to be. And right now, the suicide rate among white men and boys, young boys, has skyrocketed because they don't feel that their life has meaning or purpose. They don't know what their purpose is. And women think they just can do everything, which is false. You are a balance to us. You are wonderfully made and created, very much so. Right. But you can't do everything. And that puts way too much pressure on girls because they feel like they're supposed to be able to do everything. And when they find out they can't, they're going to feel like, oh, I'm failing. But part of what the problem is, we haven't had any good, we go out a lot of families without fathers. We have men who think it's like their job to just go and sleep with as many women and spread their seed everywhere. There are cultures that are doing that, and then they're not a father to the children that they have. And that gives you, of course, your rise of abortion, your rise to kids and men who do not know how to behave like men, and they do horrible things, and because they don't have role models anymore. We've lost it. But I wanted to look at this from a fun way because we want to look at what biblical masculinity, what are men good for? Well, they'll tell you. And to make this fun, I wanted to go through and some of the men from like in the 80s or whatever that we grew up with, and Philip will probably add to my list here, that taught us what it was like to be a man. Because right now, every male hero, even the superheroes, they're kind of making buffoons of them. And so men are like, oh, we're buffoons. Well, and you know, not everybody gets to have that good father figure in their life that kind of shows them what it's like, what it means to be a man, and how we are like. And feminism doesn't like us to be in our roles of we're kind of the protectors. We defend our family. That is what we do. I mean, Mama Bear is going to go up and do stuff, but she's not. But she shouldn't have to Mama Bear to protect the family. She should be able to stand with her husband and not have to do it on her own. And unfortunately, without the fathers, women are having to bear the brunt and step up, and they feel like they have to. And that's, you know. But I don't want to get on all the bad things. I want to talk about what we learned from some of our heroes, and I've only got a few of them in here, and I think Philip's going to end up thinking of more as we go along, but I think I've chosen a few that are probably both of us are going to relate to. But I want to start with Superman, and we were talking about this earlier today, but I mean, we learned Superman, Christopher Reeve days, nobility, honesty, he never lied, meekness, and meekness is not weakness. Meekness is, I have the power. This is Superman. He could have conquered the whole world.
But didn't.
But he didn't. He cared. He loved people enough to protect them. But he had also humility. He didn't walk around prideful of being Superman. He was smiling, basically. He'd give that charming smile to us at the end of the movie, just like, hey, you know. And meekness is one of those Christ-like.
I was going to say, Clark Kent
there's the humility, brother. Yes.
There was that disguise. I mean, that's one of the problems that we have where this is sound awful. It's true. One thing about the 80s and 70s and all that stuff was a lot of the young people we grew up with had this idea that you have to be able to take on the world and be this macho. They misunderstood. They misunderstood the content. They misunderstood the Marlboro Man. They misunderstood all that. That's not true masculinity.
Right.
That's the Halloween mask. The true masculinity isn't how many women you can put the notch on your belt. It's not that at all.
Or on your bedpost.
That's what. Yeah, exactly. It's not about how many cigarettes you have and have a stinky breath. It's not about how much you drink and all that junk. It's not about that at all, because a real man isn't about what's on the outside, what's on the inside.
Yeah, heart,
that's the truth.
Character.
That's it. That's exactly right.
And I want to lean on meekness because that was Christ.
Amen.
He was meek. He was mild, but he was God on this earth. He could have come down off that cross and just killed everybody there, but that's not what he came to do. He came and let himself be crucified because he loved us. And that's men, that love that we have. And what I've heard it even pointed out, if you look through the Bible, men are commanded to love. Women don't have to be commanded to love. They do it naturally. But men, we are commanded to love. But when we love, we can really show that Christ-like quality. We protect what we love.
We know it's part of the Trinity, but the Holy Spirit is the mild, guiding light. And that women, if you want to say the Holy Spirit is the feminine side, and I don't mean that literally, but is that loving, kind, sweet, honest, and patient side, that's what women have. Most women. Now, some women decide not to use it.
Yeah.
But for the most part, that's what women have. And I've been called a wimp most of my life because I have, I'm not saying I always use it, but I have that gentle side, and I've been called a wimp, unmanly, and all these things. Oh, well, I would rather have that kindness and meekness than not.
Yeah. And that's the thing, women, this is when you ask somebody when they were a kid, when you got hurt, who did you run to? Did you run to daddy? No, you ran to mom, because mom knew how to care and nurture you. It was come naturally. Women, don't fight who God made you to be. It's in there. Yeah. It comes so naturally for you to love and to care. Do not let that be taken away from you.
But dads had that protection.
Right. That's the thing, is mom would protect in that way to where she would be there to, hold you and comfort you. Dad is supposed to be the one that gets in between that family and the danger and take the brunt on himself, which is what Jesus demonstrated for us. He took sin upon himself, and that's right. He stood between us and hell. That is, he's showing exactly what the father, what the man is supposed to be. We're supposed to stand between and protect. And the mother's going to make sure that you're comforted and cared for when you do have to go through some stuff. Mom, no one loves you like a mom. That's why we celebrate Mom's Day so much, because Mom took care of us. But
I always try to make a big deal about Mother's Day, but I'm talking about at church,
right?
I try to make a big deal about Father's Day too, because I feel like they sometimes get the shaft, so to speak, as far as that goes. And I try not to let that happen, but mamas kind of need, I don't mean this is going to sound sexist, I don't mean it to sound that way. I think mamas sometimes emotionally need the pat on the back a little more. But fathers also need to be reminded that we didn't forget you.
Right.
And that we love you, because even though you're not going to be getting the roses, you need to be risen up and lifted up so that you are aware that you're not forgotten.
Mm-hmm. And the line we lifted out of Superman we were discussing this morning is something in the original 79 movie that Jonathan Kent says, "We know one thing for certain, that you are here on this earth for a reason."
That's right.
That is. There's a lot of quote stuff I think I can grab out of some of these that we learn of stuff like, and you, no matter who, man and woman, you are here for a reason.
That's right. That's right. And
it doesn't have to be grandiose. You don't have to be like, I'm going to be the president. No, what you do, even amongst your family or amongst your friends, amongst your community, the little things you do, even if a group of 5 people, you do something, matters.
That's right. You are here for real. I was telling this to a guy at church today, and I was quoting that, and I even told him that I quoted from the movie, and that you're here for a reason. God knows what it is. Our reasons to be obedient to the Lord, but God has reasons for us that we can't even begin to. Because if you go on what you're telling yourself is that I'm no good, I'm nothing. Nah, listen, I do what through Christ. All things I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Philippians 4:13. Not that I can do it, but through Christ I can do it. It's God's. So just remember that, Philippians 4:13. So you said Superman. Who's the next?
Next on the list. All right. Okay, Superman was an obvious one for you. This next one's obvious for me. Spider-Man. We all know the quote about with great power becomes great responsibility. But what I always have liked about that and where that has struck me, that's the parable of the talents. You have talents. Now, of course, in the Bible, his talents was like money. But I like the fact that it's talents like you have, even if you don't feel like you have them, you do have things that you can do. And it is your responsibility to use those. And some sort of service to God, to people. It is your responsibility to use the gifts, the abilities that God has given you. And if you have a hard time figuring out what you're good at, pray. And you know what? It could be that you're looking for the wrong things. It could be maybe you're just that person that everybody can depend on.
That could be given, much is required.
Yeah. The more, because if you have a hard time finding, I don't have athletic ability. I don't have these abilities. Well, if you had that abilities, more would be required of you. But maybe your ability is that everybody can depend upon you, or your ability to care, your ability to love, your ability, the things that you don't think are really a big deal are probably a huge deal to somebody else.
Yeah, I was going to say that just because I may not have for instance, my friend Jeremy here, there's things that he can do with the computers and other things. I can't do it. I've tried. I doesn't mean I shouldn't try, because at least I can try them and I don't just throw it away and say, no, I'm not even going to try it. No, but there's certain things I can do that Jeremy can't do. And you know what's great about that is we can complete one another in a team. And my other friend, he can jump in, and my other friends, we're like the A team. We complete each other in a team. We make a complete whole together, and that's okay because the Lord helped with that, and he put us together for a reason.
Yeah, you are here for a reason.
That's exactly
there.
Right.
You go. We're going back to Superman, but Spider-Man, you do have a power that is yours. There's another podcast I've mentioned before, the Real Brian Show, but they're one of their things I like to do is unleash your inner superhero, and it's like when you just do something that is part of just who you are. You are unleashing your superhero. You have that. You have a power. Maybe you just don't recognize it. But it is your responsibility to do it. If you got something to share, you share it. And even if it's just a simple that you are the guy at work that smiles and says good morning, that is your superpower, man. You have no idea the impact you may be having. But that's another good thing. Lessons for manhood. But I've always, Spider-Man. That's like the biggest thing. When that line, when I first read that, I was like, oh my goodness. So next on our list, He-Man. Now,
yes.
Now, okay, granted, all right, there can be violent versions of He-Man. We've seen that. But the way he was presented in that animated series back in the 80s, original. I mean, you're talking, he's got weapons, he's got great strength, but, he always looked for a non-violent solution.
Yeah.
The morality that He-Man had, and they would even teach you a little thing at the end, the importance of friendship and courage and caring about people. There was so much that He-Man, that series taught us, and that He-Man looked up to, but he was always looking to protect, and of course he was trying to capture Skeletor, and even sometimes trying to find a way for to redeem Skeletor. That happened a couple times too. But, he wasn't trying to go for violent solutions. He always looked for a non-violent solution. You could see it. And he would maybe like, oh, we got to deal with this monster. Let me, if I can just, tie, it's a two-headed monster. Maybe I can tie their heads in a knot and then get them they'll stop. Or he'll get them trap them somewhere like, okay, there you go. I didn't have to hurt this monster, but I've trapped it. So now it's not coming out and won't harm anyone again.
Head.
Yeah. And he would always have good one-liners too. But He-Man he'd solve every problem with his fists.
I also loved how some of the lessons they have in there. It's like, it's not good to hurt the animal, he'd say to the villain or something.
Yeah.
He always had that voice like that.
Yes. But that's
not very nice.
That's something that also gets lost because we see it a lot of times. We feel like we have to be action heroes and we have to solve problems with our fists. He-Man, who was the most capable, like Superman, to solve a problem with his fist, he didn't. He found other ways to solve it and save the day and protect people. And, that's the thing. Not everything has to be solved with a fist. Now, there are times that, unfortunately, you're going to have to, you might have a violent confrontation that you might have to deal with because you have to protect from something horrible and you may have to get in there. So what helps you out sometimes is your prayers, your vitamins. But you know what? You got to work hard and you don't give up. And we learned that from Hulk Hogan.
Let me tell you something, brother.
Yeah, exactly. But he always, it was kind of a gimmicky thing to say your prayers, take your vitamins and exercise. And, take care of it. Now, granted, we're not the greatest examples of taking good care of ourselves, but it was working hard. He worked hard to be, that was now whatever, you might feel about some of the things outside of it. But the character of Hulk Hogan is what we learned from, not so much Terry Bollier, but Hulk Hogan, the character, what he represented. He stood up for what he believed in. He did not back down from that. He was loyal to his friends, but he would always talk about the prayers, vitamins, and especially the prayers. But he did not quit. He did not give up when the chips were down. He stuck in there, and he'd stick by his friends. That is good manhood, and he protected his friends. And sometimes it actually backfired. Like at one time, he was trying to protect Elizabeth, and it went bad. They started the rivalry with him and Macho Man, and a big unique thing. But and it broke his heart. But when it's time to be a man, I can't let it slide. There are times that you are going to probably have to step up. But that doesn't mean it has to be violent. But there's times that when you're going to have to stand between the people you care about in danger. Vitamins, prayers, and working hard, man. That's Hulk Hogan.
That's right. Exercise. That's right.
Mm-hmm. And the next one, Rocky. Now, goodness, there's so many lessons we learned from Rocky. Heart and determination. Rocky. And one thing I kind of noticed when I was thinking about Rocky, love made him stronger.
Oh, yeah.
Because, especially come around by Rocky 2. Well, even looking at the first Rocky, he's talking to Adrian and says, I just want to go to the distance. And part of what it gave him something was having Adrian there with him. But in the second one, you notice he's just struggling with it in depression, and she's not with him. But when she goes and she's in the hospital and she says, do something for me, win. Boom, hit him up, lit him up, and he's going to win that championship.
Women have a power about them, and
heck yeah,
if
they're
with you, you're all the way. If they're against you, your heart is broken, and it just tears you up.
Yep.
I love Rocky. I love him so much, and he's just so awesome. And then I love. I've said it a million times, I'm sure, but Rocky Balboa is my second favorite of the films. His first favorite. I love Rocky 3 too, but still Rocky and the first one and Rocky Balboa are my favorites. And I love whenever he says, it's not how hard you can hit, it's how hard you get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Nothing hits harder than life.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And oh man, you're going to make me want to watch them here in a moment. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, these movies. But yeah, the thing about heart and determination and it just, oh man, you have to be determined to keep moving forward. You just have to. I love
Eye of the
this song.
Tiger.
That's right.
That's right.
You was asking me about other characters, masculine characters, heroic people that brought into biblical. This is going to sound silly, probably. There's a few of them I can think of. I mean, I was thinking of Chuck Norris and all these other people, and who is a good Christian man.
Yeah.
And other types of people. I was thinking about all of them. I was thinking of Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's played so many Conan. He's played so many great. He scared me silly when he played Terminator and all that. But I'm just thinking of them as people. Chuck Norris and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Stallone. These guys have had that way about them throughout the 80s, that they had that almost heroic, masculine way. Because you think of the 80s in action, you think of Arnold Schwarzenegger, you think of Stallone, you think of Chuck Norris, you think of those guys. But one of the characters I think of often, at least in my childhood, was Popeye.
Yeah.
And as a Christian, I often have used him as an example of where Popeye would feel down and out, and he'd take the spinach and go eating on it. And I've been that way many times where I feel like I can't go on, and I'm being attacked by the enemy, meaning Satan, and the things of the world. Suddenly, I take out my spinach, the Word of God, I eat on it, and suddenly power comes upon me. And nothing's going to stop me now.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's great about Popeye. Even like the Robin Williams movie, I like the "I Am What I Am" song. There's so much where it's like, just the honesty, the integrity of Popeye. And he says, "I know what's right and I know what's wrong, and I will stand up for what is right and fight against what is wrong."
He says,
yes,
wrong. Yeah, he said,
wrong is wrong, even if it helps you.
Even if it does you good. That's right. Even if it helps you. I love that.
Exactly. Yes. And he'll never hurt nobody, and he'll never tell a lie.
It may seem like it's doing you good, but it's not.
It ain't.
Down.
Yep. If you choose the quick and easy path, to the dark side you go. So,
the other thing I was going to say about you was talking about heroes and stuff. This is going to sound dumb, but some of the people I think of, we was talking about the 80s. Some of the people I think of being heroes are the straight staying-at-home dads, but not staying at home as in staying at home all day, but just regular dads. I was thinking of Michael. I almost said Michael Keaton. I'm going to say what was his name? Michael Gross, who played
on Family
Mr.
Ties.
Keaton.
Yeah.
What was the name of the father on that show? I can't remember, but Keaton was his. Anyway,
I don't know.
I can't think of his first name. I almost had it for a second there. There's Alex P. Keaton, and then there was
Alex was Michael J. Fox.
Yeah, and then I can't think of his name right now. Elise was the mom, and anyway, whatever his name was, whenever he was an actual, in a way, heroic, because he would try to keep his head up and be happy. And I remember on one episode, there was a woman who tried to get him to leave with her and be with her. He worked with her, and I'll tell you who it was. It was the same actress who later on be on Who's the Boss. But he was attracted to her, but he didn't, because he said, no, I'm a married man and I love my family. I love him. And he stayed with his family. And I remember I thought, that's a hero.
Yeah.
That's a good man who knows what's right and he does it. And
that is good.
I know I'm saying that because there's a lot of people right now who seem to think, we're talking about all these heroic supermen, but no, you don't have to have muscle, because your biggest muscle is your heart.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what you need to remember. It doesn't matter if you look like Schwarzenegger, because God knows you're much stronger than all these others.
Especially when you can do all things through Christ who strengthens you. When you got
Amen.
God power behind you, and like I said, the love of God with you, the love of your wife or of a good woman with you, you are that is your power, man. Is having God, if you're staying straight and doing what God wants you to do, He is always going to direct your path.
Amen.
And you will have all the strength you need to do what you need to do. But I love that we did mention that the love of a good woman. That's why women, you are far more important than when like the major cause of feminists tries to pull you out of the quote unquote traditional old fashioned roles of women. It's like you have no idea how much power that woman would have in those traditional roles because of the love they have for their family and the way that they care for their family, how that empowers her husband to take care of the family as well and to do what he needs to do. Because we need you, women. We need you because you are very good for us. And you know what? We are good for you, but we need to make sure we are there. And we need to make sure, young man, teach your sons what does a biblical man look like? Because that is the one that's going to stick up for his family, going to stay with his family, going to love his family, provide for his family, protect his family, and show his sons what God does for us.
And I accidentally, not even intentionally, just brought something into this, which was completely accidental, by mentioning the woman who played Angela on that show, Who's the Boss. The question becomes, like, that show kind of played off this, of who's the boss? Was it Tony or Angela? Well, in reality, first of all, they were not together till the end of the show when they got married. But people often ask that, who's the boss? The husband or the wife? Well, in reality, the boss is God.
Amen.
It's supposed to be God. And in the Bible, when it talks about the man being in charge, well, what it meant was that the man was supposed to lead the family as a wife walked with him as they together followed God. And that's what it means to be equally yoked.
Yeah.
They're to follow God together.
Christ was our example as men of how to be the lead of family. And what did Christ do? Sacrificed himself.
There you go.
And when you're willing to do that for your wife, in some ways make sacrifices, your wife will gracefully submit because she trusts and respects and believes in you.
Exactly. That's what it means.
That is exactly it. You are
Who's
willing
the boss?
to lay down. God.
God's
And he
the boss.
taught us how to do it. Yes.
That's right.
So that is hopefully
I didn't even mean to
lessons.
take it there. I didn't even mean to take it there,
But
but that's where
you're
it went.
right, though. You're totally right.
Yeah, that's right.
Which, when you're being a pastor, you better be right about a lot of stuff.
And then, well,
There you
it's
go.
because it's not me who's right, but
Exactly.
he who's within me.
Exactly. So, but this is a show that I felt just that broke my heart to hear people.
Amen.
What are men good for? Nothing. And at the same time, thinking women are supposed to be capable of everything. No, women should not need to feel that they have to be able to do everything. They should have a good man with them as part of that family union. That they together we are stronger. Now, if you choose to be single all your life, that's fine too.
Yeah, that's fine.
But
Paul talks this way,
right?
Yeah.
But we are so great together, and we are an example. The marriage of the bride and groom, goodness sakes, this is referenced so much between God's relationship with his church. It is like the prime example of how this is supposed to work. We are much better together than we are apart. As long as we accept the role that God designed us for. And as long as you don't fight against what God made you to do, you're going to have a much happier life. And I'm saying this as a guy who's been married coming up on 20 years in about 3 more months.
Praise the Lord.
So, and there's
Praise
people
the
who've been
Lord.
going longer than I have. And because I try
be
to,
humble.
I'm not perfect, but I try my best to be what Heather needs me to be. Because she's exactly what I need her to be. She really is.
Yeah,
she's fantastic.
She's wonderful. She's wonderful.
I
She
just
really
hope
is.
I'm doing good. So,
You're
but
doing
that's
good, buddy.
that is it. I try to do my best and everything, but I'm a weirdo. I can't help it. So,
hey, well, you are who you are.
I
and
am
that's-
what I
that's-
am.
And she loves you.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
don't know why, but she does. But that's a good place to wrap this up. I might even split this into 2 episodes and release 2 of them this week because this went on for 2 hours. But we want to make sure we thank Karen Kennedy, Ricky Pope of Christian Nerds Unite, and Darren Wilhite of the Wilhite and Wall Show for helping me out with the intro to this show. Remember, of course, well, I guess y'all already know by now we're at Red Circle, but you can also go to neverlandpodcast.com where you can also find a link for my podcast reviews. If you happen to have a podcast, click in there. For a small fee, you can actually get all your reviews from around the world actually just sent to your email. And it makes a convenient way for you to leave us a review, which please do. We are, of course, have an email address, podcast at neverlandpodcast.com. Tell us who your heroes were, who taught you how to be an awesome man or even an awesome woman. There are some great heroes for women out there as well, you know. So Twitter, Neverland PCast, Facebook.com, find Neverland Podcast. We have both a group and a fan page for you to like. And the most important thing, really, patreon.com/Neverland Podcast, where you can help donate to keeping this show going. Because it's a struggle to keep it going. I think I've paid up through the year for at least for Red Circle, but I still have to have my Adobe. There's a lot of costs that I incur to keep making this show because I love presenting it to you, and especially here lately. I mean, the show has changed course, and now we're teaching them good morality and good stuff like we did today. I like doing that because I feel like we might be making a difference.
Stephen
Keaton. There you go. There you go.
Sorry, Stephen Keaton.
There we go. But so I love what we're doing, and if you love what we're doing, please share with others the show. And we hope you're having some fun with us because that's kind of the goal. Is just get together and have fun and enjoy stuff, and come our way with something to think of and something to make us all a little better and a little stronger. So make sure you go. And if you donate through Patreon, you're going to get an RSS link that means you don't have those annoying ads jumping up and interrupting the show. So, yes, please do. But until then, until we see each other again, get lost.
And an adventure.
Okay, he jumped the gun. I was trying to give him a countdown. You stole my thunder.
I stole your thunder, and I enjoyed it too.
Thunder stole.